Cool.
Good afternoon. I wasted a bit of time talking about the cricket before we actually went to it, but now we are actually live for South Africa's third game at this T20 World Cup against Sri Lanka. I'm joined by Ian Turner and Ken Borland, who are all over the world. Some of us are in London, some of us are at cricket grounds where South Africa aren't playing.
Yeah, Super Sport Park. And if anyone is interested, the is the lead of 110 titles. We've got 10 minutes to go until lunch on the second day.
Brilliant. Yeah, so what has happened so far is South Africa won the toss, elected to field. We were having some WhatsApp discussions about exactly how that'll turn out, and we're going to see Kusal Pereira opening the batting with a new face to South African fans, Potham Masanka, who hasn't played against South Africa before. Yeah, that's about that. The South African side's mostly the same, except for Quinton de Kock's back. Yeah, I'm sure everyone who's been following even a little bit of South African cricket knows exactly why he was out of the side. And Heinrich Klaasen has made way for Quinton de Kock, who is now back. Reza Hendricks did enough at the top of the order to keep his place. And South Africa is doing what they've done quite a bit here. It looks like they're going to open the bowling with some spin. Aiden Markram is going to be opening the bowling for South Africa, as we do see the whole South African side take the knee, as well as the umpires. I don't know if the Sri Lankan players are doing the same.
It's an interesting selection, leaving out Heinrich Klaasen, who, of course, is one of the finishers in the team. South Africa have been criticised for being top heavy, and they have seemed to have gone further down that route with Reza Hendricks keeping his place, although he did bat very well in that last game.
Right. I guess that pushes everyone down a place, and maybe you then see David Miller and Dwayne Pretorius as the finishers in that middle order. But yeah, Heinrich Klaasen may feel a little bit aggrieved by this. South Africa, four batsmen who can be openers. Yeah, that seems to be our specialty at the moment. Quinton de Kock, Reza Hendricks, Aiden Markram, Temba Bavuma, and Yanaman Malan's not even in the squad. He would have been the fifth opener that we could have played in the same 11. So Aiden Markram is going to be bowling. Sorry, Aiden Markram's right arm finger spin. First delivery of the innings. He just pitches this outside off. It turns in a little bit, and it's played too long on. They settle for a single there in the end, I think. So Masanka has his first runs against South Africa. He's 1 off 1. Sorry, Ken, you were saying?
Yeah, well, even Rassie van der Dussen, you would say could well be a top 3 batsman in a lot of T20 lineups. Although both he and Markram have certainly advanced their games in recent time, that they can get the boundaries at the end there.
Yeah, there's a lot of South African players who really bat in the top 3 or 4 for the domestic sides and then get pushed down the order. I don't think we ever went as far as having Wayne Parnell opening the batting for South Africa. And that's something he did for the Cobras a lot, as Aiden Markram goes into the left-hander. Kusal Pereira plays it towards mid-wicket. They go through for a quick single, think of a second, turn around, and in the end, Kusal Pereira is quite safe. Well, Nisanka rather, is quite safe. So Sri Lanka 2 for no loss after 2 deliveries. Yeah, a bit of a misfield there from Kagiso Rabada that made them contemplate the second, but in the end, yeah, very much made the right decision in choosing against it, I think.
How many times does the misfield deliver you the wicket?
Yeah, not to the point that I think any team would do it tactically, but it's not the worst idea. Sure. Maybe it falls under fake fielding if you start doing it on purpose, as Markram comes into Nisanka, plays this one to long on, very similar to the first delivery of the match. And they go through for another single. So far, just 3 singles in this Sri Lankan innings.
It's a bit like in rugby when the backline drops the ball, and that seems to be the most dangerous time for a defence, because someone inevitably sort of rushes out of defence to try and get the drop ball, and that provides the gap.
Yeah, and I've seen players running into each other almost. I think in that USA-New Zealand recent match, one of the USA try was prompted by an American pushing his own scrum half in the back and almost giving him a boost of speed. Another single off the 4th delivery here. So, yeah, if you like T20 cricket for its exciting factor, I don't know if this is a game for you so far. It's just been singles all around the ground. I don't imagine it'll carry on like that, as it doesn't. This one's played towards mid-wicket by Nisanka, and they turn down the run. So a dot, finally, 5 balls into this. Both of you, I imagine, are supporting South Africa and thinking we're should be favourites after what we did to Sri Lanka and Sri Lanka, but no guarantees.
I think the stats. I think the stats show that the last 5 games have delivered huge amount of success for South Africa, and in fact, the last 2 games in Colombo was more than 5 overs to go with South Africa wrapping up victories there. But these are one-off matches, and there's been a whole lot of water go under the bridge since the 14th of September.
Yeah, and I do think Sri Lanka have turned a corner a bit during this tournament. They're playing a lot better than they did in Sri Lanka. They've got some different players as well. So, yeah, a different side, really.
Yeah, they managed to beat a good Bangladesh side, a Bangladesh side that beat Australia 4-1 in Bangladesh. Of course, that was a slightly weakened Australia, but that is still an achievement. There's still international players in that side.
You can only play the team that's put in front of you.
Exactly right. Kagiso Rabada is going to be opening the bowling from the other end. He comes right on over into Nasanka, who just plays this one into the onside. Rassi van der Dussen does the fielding, and there's no run there. Nasanka, from what I've seen so far, is he can struggle a bit against the genuine pace. I think Pat Cummins got him in the Australia game, and then the Dutch Brandon Glover, who can also bowl mid-140s, was the man to get him there. So this will be interesting to see how he negotiates Kagiso Rabada. I've said it over and over again. I don't like seeing Kagiso Rabada bowl too many in the power play. I think he's far more effective later in the game. And we've got Anrich Nortje and Dwayne Pretorius who can bowl very well in the first 6s. This one's a thick inside edge, what we call a Vatican slice, and it makes its way down to fine leg and runs away for 4. I mean,
I think it's interesting.
And straight away, there's the scary point. The ball is already keeping very, very low. Lots of effort there from Kagiso in his delivery. The ball doesn't get up. It's an inside edge because there is no height and no bounce in this pitch at all. This is scary for South Africa batting second.
The follow-up delivery is just dabbed down to the man at third man, and they go through for a single. Nasanka moves on to 8, and Sri Lanka move on to 10. It hasn't updated just yet. 8 and 10. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. You'd hope that the pitch doesn't age much more than that in the 20 overs before South Africa has to bat. But yeah, the big advantage batting second is I think you just know how you have to pace your innings. You know whether you need to get 130 or 180. And that's something that don't get confused. That's not happening in the South Africa-Sri Lanka game. I think something has happened at Supersport Park.
Not out.
Centurion. Not out. Big appeal. In the Sri Lanka-South Africa game, there was a dot. I was too distracted by Ken and what's going on there, as it looks like Kuso Pereira has also been hit by some fielding from Dwayne Pretorius, but he looks quite all right. That's something else we've seen, is players getting hit by fielders. Avishka Fernando hit Temba Bavuma, and I think Temba Bavuma hit Avishka Fernando. Well, we don't know who hit Temba Bavuma, but it broke his thumb, and he was out for a good long while. And it was only just getting back into... Yeah. He started the fight and then came off second best as well.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Neither was intentional, I trust. Yeah, a dot off the penultimate delivery of this Kagiso Rabada over. Sri Lanka at the moment 10 for no loss after 1.5 as he comes in once more. Right arm over into left-hander Pereira, who just plays this off his pads very easily. It goes past the man at fine leg and runs over the boundary for 4. And I'll make a point of it every time he bowls a bad power play over and ignore it when he bowls a good power play over. But he's gone for 9 there, which is not something you want to see. Especially, you've used up a Kagiso Rabada over. Now he's only got 3. You really should save them for the end. I hope that they don't give him another one now. But yeah.
It's interesting in the IPL that his team, the Deccan Capitals,
Delhi Capitals,
used him mostly in the second half of the innings.
Yeah.
He didn't bowl much up front at all, and in fact he didn't even bowl at the death that much. So just interesting how they utilized his skills.
And I think that's where T20 analysis is at the cutting edge is in these leagues, especially the IPL, and they've done their research. I think they know the matchups and they know how to best utilize all their players. And I did hope that at least, especially KG and Anrich Nortje playing in the same side, would bring some of those tactics and share some of that wisdom with the South African side. As Adam Markram's going to bowl a second over, there's just a single off the first delivery of that.
Just on the pitch, the word from United Arab Emirates is that it does make a little bit of difference once the sun is setting. That it does seem to speed up a little bit for some reason once the sun starts to set and isn't baking the pitch so hard, even in the day games.
And yeah, I'll trust that that's the pitch and not just the bowlers being tired in the hot heat. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. So Adam Markram's bowling into Kusal Perera. This one's dabbed into the onside, and it's going to be a dot. So Perera remains 6 off 6. Sri Lanka 15 for no loss after 2.2. Markram in again. This one slightly more flighted. There's an LBW appeal, but I think that's impact outside the line probably. If it was going on to hit, it was only just going on to clip that off stump. So what happened was the left-handed Perera went down for the sweep shot, missed the ball entirely, and it went into his back leg. But I don't think that's out. And it looks like South Africa have gone for an optimistic review. We'll see what happens. I don't think that's quite the right decision.
I'm with you, Chris. Very, very optimistic.
Even Adam Markram looks like he didn't want that to happen. Sorry.
Right arm off spinner bowling to a left-hander. It pitched outside off, and we don't even know if it struck him in line. So how it's going to hit him up, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it might be clipping, but I don't think it'll matter because it's probably impact outside the line as we see the replay, and that's almost definitely. We'll wait for the actual Hawkeye, but I think South Africa have lost the review here. No inside edge, I guess, which is the one positive. It's one of the things that's gone right with that review, but that might be where it stops.
I wonder if Quinny called for the review.
Yeah, I don't know, because Adam Markram, after it was reviewed, did not look convinced. Yeah, impact is probably fourth stump, and we don't need to see anything more than that. That's, a bit of a waste, a bit of a gamble that we went for. We're used to getting a wicket early on against the Sri Lankans based on the way that series went, and then when he didn't get one, we thought we deserved one. But no wicket there. It is a dot ball, I guess, which is a positive. Adam Markram's been pretty economical so far, going for just 6 runs and 9 deliveries. He comes in again to Kusal Perera. He's bowling around the wickets into the left-hander. This one was probably closer to hitting the wickets than the previous one, but it's actually just been negotiated into the onside as they go through for a single. So Sri Lanka 16 for no loss. Kusal Perera is on 7 off 8, and the Lanka will face the next delivery.
Yeah, it's a poor review to do that, really. So early in the innings to have lost one. Always, even with the naked eye in lifetime, it never really looked out.
Yeah, 5th delivery here was a shortish one. Nasanka gets on the back foot, really plays an aggressive shot, but picks out the South African captain, and so there's no run there. So dot. Final delivery, similar, but Nasanka comes down the crease, just plays it to the man at long on, and they go through for an easy single. So Sri Lanka 17 for no loss after 3. Good speed there from Adam Markram. I guess he doesn't get a huge amount of turn, and if you're gonna do something to test the batsman, you mix up your pace. But 97 kilometers an hour that last one. I don't even know for a fact if I, as a right-arm medium bowler, can hit triple digits. So I'll respect the fact that he got that to 97 kilometers. And Anrich Nortje will be coming into the attack now. Won't voice my own opinions onto this too much, but I think that's a good decision, especially against Nasanka. Nortje has had genuine speed in the last couple of years. We've seen him bowl some of the fastest deliveries of anyone.
And also some of the best.
I think that's exactly it. Yeah.
I mean, wasn't he outstanding against the West Indies? 4 overs for 14. Exceptional effort.
And all throughout the IPL, we saw that the pace bowlers that were doing well were often the very fast pace bowlers. It was Anrich Nortje, it was Lockie Ferguson. He had a brilliant economy there, and he was taking wickets. This one's driven and fielded quite well by Temba Bavuma, who runs round from mid-off to a wider position, stops the single turning into 2. And so they go through for just the one there off the bat of Nasanka. He's on 11 off 11. Kusal Perera on 7 off 8. No extras.
I think on these pitches, I think on these pitches, just straight up and down medium pace, you're really going to travel. if you don't have pace, then you've got to be like Dwayne Pretorius and really mix it up
Yeah.
with cutters and slower balls and variations.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true of T20s in general, but it's been exaggerated by the pitches we've seen so far. This is Anrich Nokia, right arm over into Kusal Pereira, who just plays it off his hips. It goes to the man at fine leg. Stopped before it reaches the boundary. That's just a single. And yeah, Pretorius picked up a fair bit of turf there. I think that might have been what the oof was about. Or there's very interesting cricket happening on the field in front of Ken.
No.
we can commentate on both games. Anrich Nokia continues right arm over into Nasanka, gets on the back foot. Lovely cut, but it picked out the man at point. And so that's a dot ball. Just one run off the bat so far on this over, as that second one was adjudged to be leg bias. Sri Lanka are, 19 for no loss.
You just sense that something big is coming.
A lot has been made.
Bit...
A lot has been made in the tournament about teams scoring runs early. And South Africa doing a good job of keeping the rate at below 6 at this point in time.
This one just dabbed to the man at third man, and there's going to be just a single there. That's especially been the case at Sharjah, where teams have really found it difficult to accelerate in the later overs. We saw, I watched a Jared Kimber video where he was comparing the run rates at Sharjah to all other T20 grounds. And you can score a lot whilst the ball is still hard in the power play, and then there's just no room for acceleration in the later innings. It's a stagnant sort of run rate with a slight uptick, but not the same sort of thing that you generally see in T20s.
Which maybe explains Klaasen being left out.
There we go. Sorry. Right arm over. And into Kusal Pereira. Nowhere near it. It's taken out the top of middle stump. It's taken it out of the ground. The bails are everywhere. 144 kilometers an hour. And there's South Africa's first wicket. Sri Lanka are 20 for 1. And Kusal Pereira, one of the few Sri Lankan batsmen who actually did all right in that series against South Africa. I think he got a 30 and a 39 there. He's gone. And South Africa have their first. And what a first to get.
You could just tell Kusal was getting a bit itchy there. The big shot was always coming.
Yeah, he was struggling to get the ball away. He's got 7 off 10 there in the end. I guess, in a way, that's a better innings than the Lendl Simmons innings we saw a few days ago against South Africa. Some questionable batting there. Yeah, I think there'll be lots of theories as to exactly why Lendl Simmons batted like that. But match losing innings. The new man we are going to see come in is Char Assalanka, so a left-hander replacing a left-hander. Char Assalanka in that South Africa series, he got a 6 and a 14. So he'd like to do a little bit better than that today. He did get a 47, a 77, and a 72 in the ODIs against South Africa, and then he just wasn't able to carry that form into the T20s. But he's looked so good, pretty good so far in the World Cup. He got an 80 not out against Bangladesh, possibly the match-winning innings in that game, and that was also at Sharjah. So he should be reasonably comfortable here, but South Africa's bowling attack has a very different composition to that of Bangladesh. Yeah?
The umpire is down at SuperSport Park. He's been hit by a straight drive by Tiaan van Vuuren.
The final delivery from this Anrich Nokia over is just negotiated too long on, and there's no run there. 148 kilometers an hour, that one. So Anrich Nokia, just the perfect first over from him. He took 1 wicket and went for just 2 runs in it. We've got our first YouTube comment. Jean Dion Luc says, nice to see #Quinny playing today, but he spelled Quinny with the knee part KNEE. It is nice to have him back in the side. I think everyone was worried that we might not see him play again, and this is pretty close to the best outcome we could have had from that whole fiasco. The fact that he has been done some introspection. He's had a chat with the side and he's been welcomed back into it. And Kagiso Rabada is going to get a second over in the power play. We'll see. I'll reserve my judgments until it actually plays out. He's coming right arm over into Nasanko, who negotiates this to into the covers there, the man just on the ring on the offside. And he goes a little bit down the wicket, but there was no interest in a single there. And so it's a dot delivery. Okay, there's a chance that I'm going to see something.
No height in that. There is just no height in that delivery. There is no lift off the pitch whatsoever.
So yeah, the second delivery from Kagiso Rabada is in at the wickets of Nasanka, and he actually does quite well to negotiate that out. I think that's the delivery that Ian's talking about. Yeah, where it ended up about a half a foot lower than you'd expect it to bounce. There's a chance that was the issue with Kusal Pereira's wicket as well. He did end up playing above it when it took out the top of his middle stump. Oof, this one's just been lined up by Nasanka and deposited into the stands. That is a surprising six out of nowhere. 2 dots to start the over, and then he's just, lined Kagiso Rabada up and hit him for a maximum there, 142 kilometers an hour, and not quite 142 meters, but a good positive 6.
Yep, right up the middle of the bat.
This one, again, keeps quite low on Nasanka, and he just plays it off his pads in towards the man at fine leg, and they go through for a single. I think that was actually it was actually a 4. It wasn't a 6 in the end. Cricinfo had it as a 6 immediately and then changed it to a 4. But yeah, so maybe a 1 bounce 4. I'll need to see that replay again. I don't have the highest resolution on the screen that I'm watching. Penultimate delivery in the 5th over here. Kagiso Rabada is coming right arm over into the left-handed Assalanka. Just dabs it pretty well down to... It ends up not going quite as fine as I expected. It ends up going to a man at a slightly, I guess, a deep point, deep gully. A man fielding in that position, and they go through for a single there.
Who completes the power play for you guys? This is we've had 4 overs and 5 balls now.
I think maybe you give Nokia another one, as this one's driven to the man in the covers. That's Keshav Maharaj, and they turn down the single. I think you try to get away with as many Aidan Markram overs as you can, and you don't let them line up. I think he's done his job, and you probably don't give him another. And Anrich Nokia looked so dangerous. You can maybe try get another wicket in the power play.
And especially with how well Dwayne Pretorius went at the death in the previous game.
Yeah, and I think that
sorry,
you've got Heinrich with his tail up now, having got that scalp. He'll want to keep on going. He's not going to want to give away the ball at this point in time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. He looks pretty fired up. He has been bowling very quickly, and it is such an asset to Dwayne Pretorius in the side again. It adds that sort of accelerator batting at number 7, but also giving us another option at the end of the innings as they go through for a very quick single here. And yeah, Assalanka manages to get another one there. So he's now on 2 of 3, and Nasanka will be facing the next delivery. I think he's the closest thing we have to Chris Morris that's available in that role. And in current form, I'd probably take him over Chris Morris. Chris Morris seemed to have a bit of a rotten time in the IPL.
I also think that wonderful throw at the stumps there, although it doesn't facilitate a run out or anything like that, it just speaks about the sharpness of a team that's focused and going about the basics of cricket right, and it puts pressure on the side batting.
Exactly right. Nokia right arm over, and again, Nasanko just plays this into the onside. There's a sweeper there, the deep mid wicket. That's Keshav Maharaj, and they go through for a single. Yeah, it does make the batsmen second guess themselves when you think about that quick single. If the ball's been hitting the stumps every time you've gone for a single, you do start to question it. And that was actually a little bit of the back of the handball there from Anrich Nokia. Came out as a slow ball, but still a good seam position, which can be very difficult when you're bowling the slow ball to keep the seam upright. He managed to do that. Heinrich Nokia continues right arm over into the left-handed Assalanka, who, just plays a pretty normal shot. He just plays across the line of it, puts it over the onside boundary where the mid-wicket would be for the left-hander, but isn't.
Speaking of Chris Morris.
That's 4 runs off Heinrich Nokia. Oh, no. Just speaking of Chris Morris, got Ken kicked off as now it looks like his screen is loading. But I can go have a look at what's happening in the Chris Morris game that Ken's probably going to talk about. Okay, maybe I can't. I'll get it on my phone. Yeah, Ken, for those who didn't catch it earlier, is actually at Centurion at the moment, but is paying attention to the South Africa-Sri Lanka game for us. Heinrich Nokia is going to continue. This is the 4th over of his, the 4th delivery of the second over. And this one is just driven back over his head by Assalanka. That's a lovely, lovely 4 as it just goes over, the long off boundary. 4 runs. So after going for just 2 runs in his first over, he's already conceded 9 off the bat in this over and a leg by.
And there's a very, very big scowl on his face as he's not happy having conceded that boundary as well. And it was just showing the full face of the bat, and the ball went past or over his partner standing at the non-striker's end and split the field. And that's 4 more runs to Sri Lanka, who are obviously knowing that the power play is coming to an end, and they're certainly making... as the umpire spreads his arms wide for a bit of exercise because that's down the leg side and wide.
Yeah, I think Nokia may be put off slightly by the fact that he's just been hit for 2 boundaries. Try to mix it up a bit, and that's straight down leg. Yeah, lovely, lovely off drive there. Just barely had to move his arms as well. Almost stopped on the shot, but it still managed to run all the way over the rope. So he's going to have to re-bowl this penultimate delivery rather, and this one does keep lower than I think Assalanka was expecting. He's navigated that quite well, dabbed it to the man at third because it looked almost bounce the length, but then just hit him sort of waist high.
You mentioned Chris Morris just now. I'm not sure.
And you mentioned Chris Morris as well, and we just heard, speaking of Chris Morris, and then you were gone.
And then my connection dropped. So he's come out onto the field during the lunch break here at Supersport Park, just doing a bit of very gentle bowling at the moment on a side strip. Not playing
not
in the
part
game,
of
obviously.
the playing 11.
So we've reached the end of the power play, or we're close to reaching the end of the power play.
This one strays down leg, but there ends up being pad on it, so it's not going to be wide. They go through for a single leg by, and again, the wickets are hit this time by Tabraiz Shamsi, who's filled in and fine leg. So 39 runs off the power play. Yeah, you were going to say?
Yep, it's a very good. I think it's a very good position for South Africa. They've picked up the crucial wickets. They get the breakthrough. They've managed to keep them well under control in terms of the number of runs conceded, just over 6 to the over. And they're doing a very, very good job out there, the South African bowlers. And it is a strong team effort, supported well in the field. And it is looking good for South Africa at this point in time. They could do with another couple of wickets, but then again, you can't. You always want another couple.
Yeah, maybe I'm pessimistic because I feel like when we were actually in Sri Lanka, we had even better bowling power plays than this. But all things considered, it's a fine position for South Africa to be in, especially as we were talking about the fact that it's so difficult to accelerate in Sharjah. And this is where you get your answers. It looks like one of South Africa's recent captains, but not the current captain, Keshav Maharaj, is going to come into the attack. One of the very few players to captain in his first ever T20 international. That basically just happens when teams are playing their first ever T20 international. But Keshav ended up being one of those players when he came in to replace Temba Bavuma. Not a like-for-like replacement, but replacing him as captain. As he comes in left arm around the wicket into the right hand, and Assalanka, who just plays this into the onside, and they go through for a single, bringing up the Sri Lankan 40. South Africa's managed to have produced 3 quite good spinners outside of Shamsi, 3 quite good spinners at the same time. Unfortunately, they're all almost identical in Linda Maharaj and Bjorn Fortuyn. But all definitely do a good job in the T20s. George Linda looked quite unlucky to miss out in this T20 World Cup after what he did before, but you can't hate what Keshav Maharaj has done since coming into the side. Here, Assalanka's gone for the reverse sweep, picked out the man at third man, and again they've hit the stumps. The South African fielding has been very sharp today. It doesn't count for anything on this occasion, as it just is another single. But yeah, sharp fielding. They're from Untitled Chapter, I think it was.
Very important stage of the game we're heading into now, because you just get the feeling Sri Lanka not entirely happy with how many runs they got in the power play, and so they're trying to push on a bit.
This one again just played into the onside.
We'll be trying to squeeze them and force a mistake.
Yeah, it was just a single there. Sorry for talking over you. It's difficult when we're not watching exactly the same thing to not talk over one another. As we see Friese Hendricks there, the man who's managed to retain his position in the side.
So one thing you can't get wrong today when you pass a comment is if you call the umpire Wilson, you will be right on both counts.
I'll definitely keep that in mind. Joel Wilson, and then I'll have this one is just another single there. Rassie van der Dussen does the fielding at square leg. I need to have a look. Yeah, we've got Joel Wilson, Paul Wilson, but third umpire is Asan Raza, and the referee is Jeff Crow. One day we'll have an all Wilson affair, but for today it's just the on-field umpires. As another single is taken here, the fifth delivery of Keshav Maharaj is over. It's just been ones all the way through so far. The final delivery from Keshav Maharaj is a straight to one, which is just played back to him. He does a very good job of fielding this. Scurries to his left and stops that. And so in the end, 5 runs off the Maharaj over. And after 7, Sri Lanka 44 for 1. And it looks like Tabraiz Shamsi might be coming into the attack. I do like that move. He's the man who seems to get things going when it looks like a stable game one way or the other. The Sri Lankans look like they're cruising up to a certain degree. Neither of them, they've been able to accumulate at a rate that they weren't able to in that Sri Lanka-South Africa series. And so maybe you bring in Shamsi to break the partnership. I think he's been very good at that in the last couple of years. Just makes things happen.
He was the one bowler against the West Indies who didn't have a good day. So I'm sure he will be extremely hungry and motivated to make a mark in this one.
That was an interesting one because when we actually went to the West Indies, I think he played 4 of the 5 games. So he bowled. Oh no, he played all 5. Yeah, so he bowled 20 overs and went for 80 runs in that, and then he went for something in the high 30s against the West Indies recently. It was so different to what we saw him actually do whilst we were there. Yeah, went for almost
3. Just 3 overs. Yeah.
So from an economy rate of 4 in the one series to just about 3 times that. So Tabraiz Shamsi has come in. He's bowling his left arm wrist spin. He's flighted this one beautifully, and it's played back to him by Nasanka for a dot delivery there. Good pace there as well, 94 kilometers an hour from Tabraiz Shamsi, who also looks like a man on a mission. We saw the very determined face of Anrich Nokia. The South African bowlers have looked pretty serious all throughout this, and I do enjoy it. There's a look of concentration on all of it. This one strays down leg, but he gets away with it because Nasanka tries to play it in the onside, doesn't get bat on it, and it just hits him in his legs. He's pretty displeased with the result there. Yeah,
I think your remark there about the players, and there's something very businesslike about this team's image on the field today. That says we want to get this job done and we want to put ourselves back in contention, and the only way we can do it is focus on every single ball, fielding, getting the basics right, and doing the job.
Shamsi, and again, this one again strays down leg. I think he needs to thank Nasanka for letting him get away with that twice in a row. If either of those hadn't hit the batsman, they would have been wide. This one just a leg by. They go through for a single the first runs of the over. I think we saw that in the Australia game as well, at least in the second innings when the South Africans were bowling, where it was a very good bowling and fielding performance, and it did seem clinical, it did seem businesslike. In the end, unfortunately, they just didn't have enough runs to defend. But yeah, it fills me with a certain confidence as well when you see how seriously the South African fielding side, anyway, is taking the cricket. Shamsi is going to be coming in again into the left-handed Assalanka, who just plays this back to the bowler, and so that's another dot there. So the only run so far of this over, just that leg by. Sri Lanka 45 for 1.
It is a pretty serious match for the Proteas because if they lose, it will be their second defeat in the competition, which is not necessarily fatal, but with Australia and England both winning their matches, you really don't want to be slipping that far behind.
This one's a single. It's just played to the man at long on, David Miller, and they trot through for 1. Yeah, and I don't know. This is the South African pessimism. That England side is so imposing at the moment that I almost see it as a scheduled loss, and we just need to win everything else and hope that Australia loses another one at some stage. And if we manage to get through on net run rate, that might end up coming into it. And so we don't just have to win against the weaker sides, in inverted commas. We need to win pretty comprehensively to give us a chance, because there's every chance that we end up on equal points with a side like Australia. There's an LBW appeal here, but I don't think there's anything on it. And so in the end, that's just a dot. So 2 runs off the over, only 1 counted against the bowler's name, and Sri Lanka 46 for 1 after 8. Yes, so I mean, we would be doing it anyway, but I think we have to support any side that's playing Australia in the rest of the group stages for the sake of South Africa and for our own vendettas against that country to our east.
And just in terms of net run rate, we're currently around 0.55 behind Australia, and obviously 2 points behind them as well.
Keshav Maharaj continues, and Assalanka just comes straight down and dispatches him over cow corner. There's a chance where Kagiso Rabada almost got a paw to it, but I don't know if he had a real opportunity there. We'll have to see the replay. But the end result is 6 off the back of Assalanka.
Yeah, not a great delivery, pulled short and taken its toll. That was I think he saw the batsman coming down the crease, down the wicket, and decided to drop it a bit shorter, and it didn't pay off for him this time, but close.
Yeah, in the end, it looked like Rabada was a couple of inches away, but it would have been the greatest catch I'd ever seen if he managed to actually hold on to that and not fall out of the grounds. He didn't have a real chance, and he's probably the tallest player on the South African side, so if he couldn't get there, no one could. The follow-up delivery is just a single off the bat of Char Assalanka. He's on 20 of 13, turning this into quite a tidy innings with that 6. Patham Masanko will face the next.
It would have definitely defied all the laws of nature if Rabada had managed to pull that one off.
Oh, and again, Keshav Maharaj has been lined up. This one's a fuller delivery. It's not that similar to the other one. And Nasanka just gets down on the sweep and dispatches it over. Now, it's the same part of the ground. Well, yeah, it's cow corner again, but cow corner to the right-handed batsman rather than left-handed batsman. Second 6 of the over. And it also, takes Sri Lanka to 59. Yeah, he's hit that very sweetly as Nasanka.
And so it might just be that it's not Keshav's day today, or is it just the 1 over that is going to prove problematic? But that's what's great about the South African team right now, is they've got other options up their sleeve.
Yeah, single to follow up there. So far the over's gone 6-1, 6-1. I think, unfortunately, the other options, if Maharaj does get hit out of the attack, it's mostly Aiden Markram, who's not going to be able to do a huge amount that Maharaj can't, and might be treated in a similar way. This delivery just played into the onside as they go through for at least 1 and probably 2 in the end. Yes, they do, and it's hit the wickets again. They're probably going to go upstairs. This might be...
He's gone. I think he's out.
Just fantastic fielding. Yeah, we're seeing it live. I think he was probably out by half a foot. The South Africans are celebrating. And that's, even if the bowling's not going well, the fielding has been pretty brilliant today. And it's just another example of that. They're going to go upstairs, and we'll see exactly how close.
Quinton de Kock did not even turn to the square leg umpire. He knew he was gonzo.
And that's not even a direct hit. That's Quinton de Kock doing it. He's taken it just next to the wickets and then managed to knock them over with the batsman being just that half foot short. So in the end, I think it's Char Assalanka who has run out there. He's got 21 runs because, of course, they've still got the single there, but 21 runs off 14 deliveries. And South Africa get their second. If you can't do it with the ball, do it in the field. That's sharp fielding from the South African. Sri Lanka 61 for 2.
It's the perfect riposte to a couple of sixes in the over. Things not going well for the bowler, but the fielding really coming to the party there. Kagiso Rabada with just his speed across the ground and the quick release. And really good work to finish it off by Quinton de Kock.
So the spectators that are there, are people allowed to travel for tourism to the UAE at the moment? Okay, so it's not just people who are coincidentally in the UAE who went out. Although there may be some of that.
Yeah, I think you can travel. And you might also find that they could be business travelers as well.
Yeah.
That have managed to get themselves into the game. But travel into the UAE, I know for business purposes, it's not a problem. And now there's a lot more movement between countries as well. So the dreaded red lists have been abandoned in the majority.
So the new man into the crease is Bhanuka Rajapaksa, a man who didn't do very much against South Africa, but I think has been in red-hot form so far in the T20 World Cup. He managed to score a fair few runs on his birthday the other day. I need to double check. Yeah, he got a 53 on his birthday, which, I don't have the comprehensive list or the means to find it. Unfortunately, that's an Andrew Sampson stat and not a stat that I can do without just spending hours on it and doing it very manually. Final ball of the over is just a single. So an interesting one in the end. 14 runs off the over, but also the wicket there of Assalanka.
The one real option is if Maharaj doesn't pay off, they turn to the medium pace of Pretorius, although they're probably only looking to use him from overs 13 onwards, I would say.
Yeah, I guess we've still got quite a few options in that regard. We've got the 4 overs from Pretorius and then the 2 out-and-out seamers have a few overs left themselves. We'll see exactly how they structure it. So, against South Africa, Rajapaksa managed to get a duck, a 20, and a 5 in the T20s. And I think he also had 2 ducks in the ODI series. So he hasn't had the best time against South Africa, as Shamsi is going to continue from the other end. This one's just a single. I want to see who's taking the wicket on most of these occasions.
Did you notice the little slip there when he turned? Did you notice the little slip from the Sri Lankan batsman? He did. There was a small slip, and that is the difference between in and out for that guy in this scenario.
That half-foot difference. Tabraiz Shamsi, and again, this one flies it beautifully. I don't even know what Shamsi's appealing for here. I guess the umpire got slightly in
He's running all over the pitch.
LBW appeal, but because of the camera angle that we have, it almost looked like the batsman middle bat from what I was seeing. I'm interested to see the replay here. But big appeal from Tabraiz Shamsi. Quinton de Kock looks like he's telling him to calm down.
Just making sure he didn't take a single.
And this looks like there's someone in front of the side screen, so we're going to have to wait a little bit as Rajapaksa pulls out of the shot there. So Rajapaksa has been dismissed by a few South Africans. Maharaj has got him, Markram's got him, Rabada's got him. This one flies it beautifully straight back, caught it bowled to Tabraiz Shamsi. That is fantastic cricket. Good delivery and great awareness from the bowler there. That's South Africa's third. That's
and
good.
I fancy Rajapaksa didn't read that one because it turned away from him and he was trying to play it through mid-wicket and the leading edge looping back to Shamsi.
Yeah, it was looping. It came to Shamsi slowly, but he also had to put in the little jump to actually get there in the end. And
his poor form against South Africa continues.
Yeah, let me have a look. I think across the format, so it's probably his 4th duck against South Africa.
Wow. And it's to a series of bowlers, so there can't be any claims of he's a particular bowler's bunny, but he is a team bunny, that's for sure.
So across all the formats, Maharaj has got him twice now, Rabada's got him twice, Markram's got him once, and Shamsi has got him once.
He's also not fallen to one particular style of bowling either. The pacers have got him and the spinners have got him, and there's a wicket for you and a wicket for you and a wicket for you. So it's sort of a bit like the Oprah Winfrey. $5 for you and $5 for you.
So he's played now 6 innings against South Africa and he's managed to score 25 runs. So an average of 4.16 and 4 ducks out of those 6 innings. He has not had fun against South Africa, especially because, in his 21 match career, he only has 5 ducks. The only other duck coming against India, and then all the rest is South Africa. I don't know if you can be a team's bunny, but that's how it looks for Rajapaksa.
I think as a selector, I might be thinking, we've got South African series coming up. I might not want to play him.
Although, we played them so much recently, I can't imagine there's another Sri Lankan series scheduled anytime too soon.
No.
So unless we see them on the semis or the final, well, we can't see them in the semis unless we see them in the final. And I think quite a lot of interesting things have to happen for that to be the case. It'll be a while before they need to make that decision. So I'll do a quick recap. Sri Lanka 62 for 3 now after 9.3 overs. It looks like they're taking the drinks break a little bit early as we're getting lots of ads at the moment.
Going on ball by ball. You want to? Yes.
We can mix it up a bit because people might be getting sick of my voice. We can do a switch over once we're back on the field. I don't know who of you would rather do ball by ball.
Go for it, Kenneth.
I think it's more your voice might be getting tired.
I've done a whole 8 hours, all 3 sessions of a New Zealand Pakistan test when Simon was experimenting with that before. So I'm quite used to talking a lot of dribble for a long time.
Hopefully experimenting being the operative word.
Yeah, no, that's something I'm not going to do again. We've got to see Haris Sahel score just about the slowest 100 ever. Sorry.
Pushed away into the offside by Visca Fernando, no run.
Want to find the innings, we watched Haris Sahel
in again to Fernando, and he'll get off the mark now as he turns this way. Turns this away on the onside for a single, 63 for 3.
I found the innings, Simon and I managed to choose the worst day of Test cricket to commentate on, where Haris Sahel's got 147 or 421.
Shamsi in again. This is down the leg side and will be called a wide by the umpire. And,
so that's the worst thing about
South Africa have actually reviewed. Is this a review for caught behind by the cock down the leg side?
He doesn't look that interested. I'm watching it live. So I'm a little bit behind you, but watching it live, Quinton de Kock didn't look that interested in it, but I guess he changed his mind. He looks quite convinced now.
It seems it's an umpire review.
Very interesting.
Possibly before. Did he even break the stumps?
So they're going up for the stumping then,
rather than looking at ultra edge
behind.
Well, I don't know why ultra edge.
I wonder if you
then.
But maybe if you review the stumping, do you have to check everything?
It is the stumping.
I don't know.
It is the stumping they are looking at, and it's one of those awkward runs where the batsman foot is over the line but raised, but with the front half of the boot on the ground. But you've just got to try and work out which part of the boot is actually grounded behind the line.
This would be a big bonus wicket if it goes our way, that's for sure. No bat.
Yeah.
The ultra edge is showing nothing.
It didn't look like anything watching it live.
Waits for the... It's very good work by Quinton de Kock. He actually waits a bit for the balance to shift and for the batsman then to lift his back leg and then takes off the bail. Very sneakily.
I think he can thank a stud on the boot that he's going to be called safe. I think if those studs didn't exist, he would probably be out.
Yeah, it looked like nothing, but yeah,
that's off.
Yeah,
that's
close
off.
shave there for Patrick Nusanka. As Shamsi's in the game now. Again,
Same
turning down
boot
the leg
stuff.
side, and Nusanka turns this away behind square on the leg side. Not sure if it's bad, probably, because it's running away to the boundary quite quickly. But some good fielding by Anuk Nokia drags it back in. And I fancy they are through for it's Dwayne Pretorius, who's 67 for 3. Nusanka is 32, and Vishka Fernando on 1.
So I think because we're competing with Guerrilla Cricket UK today, they're also doing this game. We've just got
67
one
for 3
tweet
at
so
the
far.
halfway mark. I
Sorry.
figure Sri Lanka will be reasonably happy with the number of runs they've got, but not the wickets.
So yeah, the one tweet that we do have so far is just from Pirate Badger. It says "Morning old salts," and that was 20 minutes ago because I have not been on top of tweets to the extent that I should have been.
Keshav Maharaj is into the attack now. Keshav Maharaj starts the 11th over. He's into Patrick Nusanka. Full in the blocker. Has it hit the pad? There's certainly an appeal by the Proteas. The batsmen are racing through for the single, and they come back for a second, in fact. But I think South Africa might actually review this for the LBW. It was fired in full by Keshav Maharaj, and Nusanka took a little shuffle down and was trying to work it on the onside. That looks pretty much as if it's pad only.
Yeah, I'm obviously a fair bit behind you. I haven't seen anything just yet. I'm going to be watching it live. It doesn't, yeah, I've just seen it live now. But I guess you know a little bit more. Looking live, there's a chance it's going down late, but doesn't look like it would have been the worst review to take.
Yeah, it does look a little leg side-ish, doesn't it?
The reviews have not been on the South African side so far today, whether taken by the South Africans or by the umpires.
It's pad first.
Yeah, umpire's call on tripping leg stumps. Worth the review. Not out, and South Africa keep their review, so no harm done. Maharaj in again to Nusanka. This is on a good length. Turned again across the line to the leg side, but this time pretty much in the middle of the bat for Nusanka. And a race through for a single, which again there was a bit of drama at the bowler's end there. If there had been a direct hit, batsman might have been a bit short.
It's actually like 5 minutes. It's fine, don't worry, I'll just do it now.
It'll be interesting to see exactly how the Sri Lankan innings does accelerate, if it does. Sorry, go ahead.
Keshav Maharaj in the game to Nusanka, who comes down the wicket, but there's no timing on that big shot of his, and it just goes into the pitch in front of him, no run.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Maharaj in again to Nusanka, and this one Nusanka drives nicely down the ground for a single. He'll go to 33, and Sri Lanka 70 for 3.
So as the one player who hasn't played against South Africa before, it looks like the right decision to bring Nusanka
Maharaj
into the
in
side.
again, pulls back the length this time, and the Vishka Fernando turns it round the corner. towards a short fine leg for a single. Maharaj in again to Nasanka, and this is tripped through mid-wicket for a single now. So 11 overs gone. Sri Lanka 72 for 3.
Yeah, as I was saying, Nasanka coming into the side after not playing South Africa before, and he's negotiated them the best of any of the Sri Lankan players I've seen this year, in fact, against South African T20s.
Yeah, he does seem to be very organised and going on nicely. 34, 35 balls. Really needs to capitalise now on this good start that he's made. It will be Tabraiz Shamsi who will be bowling his third over shortly, the 12th of the innings. Here's Shamsi into Nasanka. Full outside all of a sudden. Nasanka launches it over extra cover. Lovely shot. And that's going to run away for 4 runs for Patton Nasanka, who's really getting going now. He's on 38.
So far this year, in the 4 T20s that have been played
Down
between these two
Nasanka,
sides.
that really was a very elegant stroke. Carry on, Chris.
I was going to say, yeah, from what we've seen in the 4 T20s between these sides so far, we've only seen the 150, and that was from Dinesh Chandamal. Yes, one Sri Lankan 50, that is. Otherwise, the highest score is 39 by Kusal Perera. So Nasanka has a good chance to be the second half centurion for the men in blue. I can try to
suck it down the pitch again and driving, but back to the bowler, and bounced just a little bit in front of Shamsi there. So the bowler would certainly would have had his hopes up there for a caught and bowled.
So, gentlemen, where do you think this innings is heading to? What do you think will be the score?
Driven down. Single to long for Avishka.
Maybe I've read too much into watching a couple of YouTube videos on the Sharjah pitch, but I think that Sri Lanka will struggle to accelerate too much, even though this is a decent start. I think probably in the region of 130 was probably where Sri Lanka will end up, and hopefully that's within the reaches of the South African side.
Sure.
Well, the West Indies defended 142. Shamsi in again now to Avishka Fernando. Down the pitch, he's hit it straight back to the bowler, and Shamsi has another caught and bowled. Avishka Fernando gone for 3 then, caught and bowled by Tabraiz Shamsi.
I'm trying to... I don't know if they let one sort by caught and bowled specifically on Stats Guru. I'm going to try and see how often Tabraiz Shamsi has actually taken a caught and bowled, because none jump to mind immediately, except for the 2 that we've seen today.
There is a mode of dismissal stat. I think it might be under bowling career summary.
I'm just hoping that caught and bowled differentiates from just catches.
Yeah, I think it might be. I recall Shamsi's had a few caught and bowls, I think, but whether he's had 2 in the innings before, that might be interesting. So Sri Lanka 77 for 4 now in the 12th over. Wanindu Hasaranga is going to be the new batsman, joining Patton Nasanka, who's on 39, and Tabraiz Shamsi 2 for 12 in his third over, and just as you'd expect from the number 1 ranked T20 bowler in the world, bouncing back from a bit of an off day against the West Indies.
So it differentiates between caught behind and caught. I'm going to see if I can go to the fielding stats too. I probably should be able to.
Meanwhile, Shamsi is into the new batsman Hasaranga, down the pitch and swiping through the leg side to his first delivery. He's played it safely enough out towards cow corner for a single.
So I think these are his only these are his only caught and bowls because he has 11 catches, including these two that we've seen today, and only 9 of those off other bowlers. It doesn't say how many he has off himself, but yeah, 9 off other bowlers, which makes me think the Shamsi's suddenly taking caught and bowls, something he hasn't, at least at the international level, done before.
Very well spotted, Chris, as the last ball of the over, and the Sanka drives us down to long on for a single. So after 12 overs, Sri Lanka 79 for 4, Nasanka 40, and Hasaranga has a single.
And we'll experiment with me trying to, go back to doing the commentary. I still have the one Shamsi delivery left to see, but I'll let that play out as it has been described. I get to see the replay of that caught and bowled. Yeah, great stuff. Is that another testament to South Africa's fielding? Or I guess you do expect bowlers to take those sort of caught and bowls 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10.
I actually do recall Shamsi dropping a couple of caught and bowls, so I guess no return catches that easy.
I think I only get them right when it's instinct. As soon as I have enough time to think about a catch, that's normally when I drop them. Yeah, only a few of the commentators have managed to see me play cricket because we did the Last Man Stands Cricket League a couple of years ago, just pre-COVID. And I had a caught and bowled then, and I think I earned at least a little bit of respect because it was a decent catch. I don't know what people's estimations of me were before that, but everyone seemed surprised. As we're going to see Keshav Maharaj bowl the 13th and his 4th over, in fact. So far, he's been pretty expensive. He's gone for 24 runs in his 3 overs so far. He bowls his left arm finger spin, and this one's just dispatched well into the stands. I'm going to need a replay of that, but that looks like probably the longest 6 that we've seen today. He's had a bit of a rotten time of it. He seems to be the bowler that the Sri Lankans are targeting, Keshav Maharaj.
His day today, that was a wonderful strike by Hassan Nasanka, clean as a whistle over the top.
And that takes Nasanka to 46 now, so he's just a single strike away, possibly from getting that first 50 against South Africa. In his first game against South Africa. Sri Lanka at the moment 85 for 4 after 12.1, just short of 7 runs and over that run rate. As Maharaj comes in again, Nasanka comes down pitch and just plays this one to mid-wicket. They think of a second, but they decide against it pretty quickly. So we're going to have to see Hasaranga, the RCB man, face Keshav Maharaj.
So interestingly, out of the teams in the sort of top tier of T20 cricket players at the World Cup, Tabraiz Shamsi now has the most wickets in the calendar year, 31. Ooh. So what a wonderful year he's been having.
I'm going to need a double check, but I remember keeping an eye on it at one point, and I think he might have the most wickets of anyone ever in a T20 international year, not just this year. But I'll have another quick look at this, as this one's just dabbed for a single. Obviously, in a T20 World Cup here, you're going to be playing a few more T20s as a result of the ones that you play in the World Cup, as well as all the preparation going into that. But as something's happened in the Titans game, Ken, I don't know if you want to update us on that, if you actually had a chance, or if you're too invested in the South Africa-Sri Lanka game. What happened there?
No. First ball of the Titans' second innings, Clinton Stearman to Grant McQueen had a big appeal for caught behind, which wouldn't have mattered because wicketkeeper Kashila actually spilt the ball. I think the umpire was indicating that it came off the batsman's thigh anyway.
And in the South Africa game, we just witnessed another single. So far the over's been the 6, followed by 4 singles, 1 ball left in the over. Keshav
Keshav
Maharaj coming
just
left arm around. Yeah, that just dabbed a point, and I think there was no run there. So dot to finish. And so after 13 now, Sri Lanka 89 for 4.
Yeah, Maharaj hit for 3 sixes in his 4 overs now that he's been completed. The only bowler who's been hit for a 6. So considering that he went for 18 or 3 balls, to only concede 34 runs in his 4 overs is not that bad at all.
Yeah, he came back quite well. And I can say, so Shamsi's equaled the record for the most T20 international wickets in a calendar year. So he's equaled Andrew Tai and a guy called Nakrani from Uganda, who's also got his record in 2021. So I don't know how many more games Uganda are playing this year, but both will probably be fighting it out for the leading wicket taker of the year. Dinesh Nakrani for Uganda. Tabraiz Shamsi, we'll see if he can go ahead here, as this one's his left arm wrist spinner turns into the right-handed batsman who plays it to the man at long off, and they go through for just a single there. Turned a reasonable amount, that one. As we see, Wanindu Hasaranga's got the second most fantasy points of anyone in this competition. I think it helps that he was part of the preliminary tournament as well. The first stages, and my stream cut out on me a little bit there, so I'm going to be even further behind Ken. Ken's going to know the results of the game whilst I'm still halfway through the second innings. Tabraiz Shamsi, this one strays down leg, but Nasanka does him the favor of actually playing it, and it goes down to fine leg, and there's no run there.
And just an observation on the net run rate. I'll go after the delivery.
So Shamsi's in against Nasanka, the man who's getting close to 50. This one, it's just played towards car corner along the ground, and they'll go through for a single. Again.
Yeah, I just think the net run rate is as predicted. It's slowly ticking up, as opposed to moving up at any rate of knots. It was at 6.4. It's moved up to 6.8 at this point in time.
And Sri Lanka don't really seem to have that many power hitters coming in later in the order. We might see Shanaka, the captain, as this one's played down the ground, caught by the man at long off. And there is Shamsi's 32nd wicket of the year. He's now the leading wicket taker in 2021 and the leading wicket taker in any calendar year in internationals. He picks up his second. He's got 2 for 16 and 3.3. And that's the end of Wanindu Hasaranga.
And a super catch by Aidan Markram, running in from the long on boundary and diving forward. And that, again, some excellent fielding by the Proteas today.
Trying to see the replay of that delivery. I think it was the wrong end, or at least the top spinner, the straighter one, that just didn't turn quite as much as Hasaranga expected, and he holed out quite well. And Shamsi is pumped. He doesn't bring his craziest celebrations to the T20 World Cup, but he does still show a fair bit of passion taking those wickets. Maybe that's a South African wrist spinner thing.
I think also the previous game, and knowing Shamsi that he's very hard on himself. He has very high expectations of himself, so he would have been really eager to make a statement today, and he is.
Yeah, there's certain pressure that's put on you, and people are judgmental of the T20 rankings when, the fact that David Malan was the number 1 T20 batsman in the world for a while, and yet it never seemed to look like the number 1. He looked like a decent T20 batsman, but not the number 1 in the world. And I think some people, definitely not me, are similarly suspicious of Shamsi. Perhaps people who haven't seen him do it against their side or in a tournament like the IPL, where more eyes seem to be on one. So Darshan Shanaka is going to be the new man at the crease, the Sri Lankan captain. I keep wanting to call him the new Sri Lankan captain, but it's been about 6 months now that he's had that role for, and done quite well with it. People seem to be positive about the decision, and he gets a very thick outside edge on his first delivery, which squirts down to the man at third man. He's just got out on that front leg, tried to play the front foot defensive, but didn't quite judge Shamsi correctly there.
3 for
Shamsi
18.
in again. Yeah, Shamsi in. This one misfielded by the man at mid-on, I guess. And they go through for a single. So in fact, 3 for 17, I think, and Shamsi's 4 overs.
3 for 17, spot on.
Him. Yeah, very. What we're used to seeing from Shamsi, not the stuff that we've seen in the last couple of games. We are used to that to Bray Shamsi, and he looks pretty pleased
What
with his
a riposte from the man.
So, yeah.
And lovely to see that very warm hug he gets from Keshav Maharaj as he takes his cap from the umpire and goes back to his fielding spot. A real embrace there from Keshav Maharaj, the two spinners appreciating each other's work.
Me think Keshav Maharaj, captain recently enough. At one, we got quite a few former captains in this side, in Quinton de Kock, Keshav Maharaj. I think David Miller's captained us a couple of sides, and Heinrich Klaassen has been captain before, of course, not on the side today. And Eda Markram actually in ODIs as well. So almost every batsman in this side has been captain at a point, bar Rassi van der Dissen. Dwayne Pretorius is finally into the attack in the 15th over. He bowls a wideish one here to Dasan Shanaka, who flashes at it. And I've got a small enough screen that I was ready to celebrate a catch there, but no, that's not the case. It's just a dot ball as it's gone through to Quinton de Kock for no run.
It's 3 overs earlier than Pretorius came on in the last game.
Yep.
He bowled the 18th and 20th
And
against the West Indies.
absolutely, and he is putting pressure on the Sri Lankan batting lineup because it's 3 dot balls in the over.
Yeah, that one just dribbles past the bat.
And using the same tactic that he used so well against the West Indies.
Well, and you can really see the fact that
fix
there's no
what's not
bounce in
broken.
this pitch. Some of these are passing the batsman and then just dribbling to Quinton de Kock. As Dwayne Pretorius comes in again. At least for me, it's still the third. This one quite wide, but Dasan Shanaka gets out very near that wide line and had a reasonable chance at actually playing that, and so the umpires decided that one's not a wide. Yeah, I think he'll be pleased that he's going to probably get a few more overs here. He's not quite as severely, because he didn't get a bat in that last game either, not quite as severely underused as 2 of the Namibian players. I think Piquet France and Lofty Eaton both have had 3 games where they haven't bowled and haven't fielded. The Namibia seems to just have a couple of specialist fielders in their sides. As this one's it's almost been the same ball 4 times in a row as it goes past the batsman again for a dot ball. He can't get anything on it. Good slow ball there as well, 116.
It's very clever. It's very full and very wide outside off stump, so the batsman kind of feels he needs to step across to play it, which then also, because he's changing his stance, pushes the wide mark a bit wider as well. And of course, Pretorius can just set his field to one side, the offside.
That very much used to be the thoughts about T20 fast bowling. Is that what you do? Just those wideish Yorkers that no one can actually play. Sorry, in refreshing my feed, I've missed a delivery. There was a single, I can guarantee you, off the penultimate delivery. And now the final delivery is also a single. And it looks like Nasanka has brought up his 50 for Sri Lanka. It's not the fastest 50, but in the innings that they've had, I think he's done his job pretty damn well.
Yeah, he's got more than half of their total. So if he can accelerate well here, 5 overs left in the innings of Sri Lanka, can get 50 runs. That takes them to 144, which is pretty much what the West Indies defended on the same pitch yesterday.
This is his second time that he's passed 50 in his career. He's 9 matches, it's 8 innings, high score of 61, an average of 22.25 so far in his career.
And very good average against South Africa at the moment. Infinite, I suppose, or undefined if you're dividing by 0 and doing it that way.
You're a bit of a maths whiz, Chris. Have they changed? I think when I was growing up, if you divided by 0, they called it infinite. Which always confused me. Infinite to me means a hell of a lot. So
undefined, I think it is when you divide by 0.
Right?
But I think in the context of,
Makes sense.
in cricket, it makes sense that it is sort of infinite, that he just keeps scoring and can't go out. As Nokia is back into the attack, this one's right arm over into Nasanka. He has a bit of a flash at it, doesn't get anything on it. Nokia puts his hands over his mouth. He thought that was deserving of a wicket. As we see the replay, good seam position, and it just got a little bit of a funny bounce and only just missed that off stump of Nasanka. It looked in the replay like he was trying to line it up and didn't have too much regard for Nokia or what he bowls. As Nokia comes in again, right arm over to the right-hander. This one again, there's a flash, and he just didn't get all of the runs down to find leg, and they go through for a single. And we're going to have to see Char Assalanka face Nokia. So at the moment, we are 15.2 overs into this, and Sri Lanka closing in on triple figures. They're 95 for 5 at the moment. Shanaka, the captain, on 2 of 7. He almost takes evasive action there. That didn't look great. It looks a bit like when you see number 11s bowling very fast bowlers at schoolboy cricket, where he ran into the leg side but managed to leave his bat there and got a single off of it. So the Shanaka, the captain, moves on to 3 of 8, and the Nasanka will be back on strike. And we've lost Ken, and he's trying to get in, but the only people who can let him in, I think, are Simon and Paul. So he's just trapped there, and we can't do anything to help him, unfortunately. He's outside of our studio at the moment. Nokia in again. This one has been lined up quite well by Nasanka, but it's pretty well placed. Adam Markram means that it won't be more than a single 2 runs off, or 3 runs rather, off this over so far.
Yeah, and bringing Nokia back at this time, obviously, they know if they get 1 or 2 more wickets, it puts huge dents in the possible total that Sri Lanka will get at the end of the 20.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A good Nokia over with a couple of wickets can make a 20-run swing in the final total. So he's just got 2 left now in his 3rd over. He comes in right arm over into Shanaka, who again, seems to be getting out of the way a little bit, plays this to the man at points. There's a dot delivery is the end result there, rather. And so Shanaka will have to face 1 more. Yeah, he's on 3 of 9. He'll be wanting to do some speeding up as the captain.
And I'm happy to be back from limbo, where I can report there are not infinite possibilities.
And that sounded like just an appeal here, Ken. No wicket there. But
No, 6 without loss.
Oh, final delivery. Shanaka has played this very well over the covers, and that's run away for 4. So a bit of a loose end to Nokia's over, but still a good over. 7 runs off of it. He's gone for 20 in his 3, and we have 4 left in the Sri Lankan innings.
And that Sri Lanka reached the 100 mark. 101 off of the 16 overs. Going at 6.31 to the over at this point in time. A good spell there, probably between 12 and 16 overs for South Africa. They've taken the rate down from 6.8 to 6.3. So this is good news from a South African fan's perspective at this time.
Yeah, I'm trying to... So I think 16 runs? No. Sorry. I was trying to do the maths of 100 runs of the last few overs. But yeah, South Africa has done a good job. Dwayne Pretorius back into the attack. He bowled a very good first over. Hopefully he can follow that up. And this time he bowls just the widest wide delivery possible. But Nasanka looks like he induced that wide by really stepping into the offside, trying to stand where Dwayne Pretorius bowled the entirety of the previous over. Dwayne Pretorius followed him by almost bowling it off the pitch, but Nasanka still managed to get down and half sweep, half scoop that towards square leg, and it went away for 4 runs. So back-to-back 4s for the Sri Lankans.
Pretorius just losing his length there a bit, bowled that too short, which allowed Nasanka a wonderful bit of innovation from him, though, but it allowed him to get underneath it and sweep it from probably 2 meters outside off stump away on the leg side.
It tries to replicate that perfect exactly on the next delivery, doesn't manage to do so. So Nasanka again ran into the offside. The ball came in at him and it just ricocheted off of him, dribbled towards the third man region, and they went through for a single. They're showing a graphic of strike rate versus Yorkers at Sharjah, but I'd rather just see the graphic of where all Dwayne Pretorius' deliveries have pitched so far. It would be pretty funny viewing how wide he's been bowling in general. This one, my stream went to about 3 pixels just as it passed the bat, so I didn't see exactly what happened there, but the end result is it's run away for 4 as Quinton de Kock couldn't get there. Well, it was off the bat.
A real nasty thick edge there. Yeah.
Oh, it would have been a spectacular catch, and I think on another day Quinton de Kock does get there. But yeah, just a bit too quick, and the reactions aren't quite there, and it just goes over the top of his right glove. And yeah, it runs away for 4. He might have even touched it, but yeah, not quite able to hold on to it. Another wide delivery from Dwayne Pretorius, and this one's pulled out. Oh, good catch by Kagiso Rabada, who's sort of on the sweeping there, or deep cover, comes in from the boundary, takes the catch of Dasan Shanaka. And that'll be the end of him. Yeah, fantastic fielding again by the South Africans. Kagiso Rabada got the run out, and now he has a catch as well. And he's treating it as if that was straightforward, and he should take that 10 times out of 10 with the thumbs up. But it was a very good catch from the man there. So
the funniest thing to note there,
he's gone for 11 off 12.
The funniest thing to note there from the Sri Lankan batsman is that for the first time in probably 8 or 9 deliveries, he stayed in his batting position and just swung the willow, whereas been dancing around the crease and making contact and keeping away from the fielders. He takes the orthodox batting approach and loses his wicket.
Yeah, I think it just shows you how effective the tactic is, because sure, the batsman knows exactly where the ball is going to be, but that offside boundary is packed, and it's got to be a really good shot to beat the fielders on that boundary, or if he's going to innovate, he's got to execute really well to score through the leg side.
Now we are going to see what this battle continue. Nasanka is going to have to face Dwayne Pretorius. How wide is it going to go? How wide is the batsman going to go? 2 balls left in this over to find that out. Also, the new man at the crease is going to be Chamika Karunaratne, not related to the other Karunaratne, that Dimuth Karunaratne, who South Africa have seen in the test a lot, as this is just played to the man at deep points and they go through for a single. And we are going to see Chamika face the final delivery of the Dwayne Pretorius over, as I also see a replay of that fantastic Kagiso Rabada catch. He's taken some spectacular catches in the outfield in his career. I remember one at the Wanderers where he took one with his right hand. He put himself in a bad position, but then it did a great job actually taking the catch with his right hand fully extended.
Yeah, he's just the epitome of a fantastic athlete, Kagiso Rabada. That run out he effected today really was just a wonderful piece of fielding, athleticism and skill.
Another widest delivery, Karunaratne navigates that one to the point region and they go through for a single. So in the end, another bit of a funny over. 4, 1 leg by, 4 wicket, and then 2 dots to finish. So at the moment, Pretorius has an economy of 6 in his 2 overs and the 1 wicket. And yeah, Sri Lanka 112 for 6 with 3 overs left to try and put a decent total on the board for the South Africans to chase. On the YouTube side, Anis Mohammed says snuck out of a spa treatment to watch a bit of you guys' priorities. We appreciate it. I don't know if your wife will feel the same, Anis, because it sounds like that's what the whole thing was you guys going to a spa together. And yeah, the least relaxing thing I think anyone can do
poor form
is watch cricket. Poor form?
Would it be considered poor form on your spa day to have a TV on with the cricket showing?
It depends what relaxes you.
So Kagiso Rabada is
if I'm not allowed to watch
the
cricket,
attack.
I'm not going.
Yeah, so Rabada's back into the attack. This one just a single, so it's very easy to do your maths here. He's going to be bowling this over, the 18th, as well as the 20th over. Okay, it's a 2014 match that we've seen Dale Steyn playing. It's the same uniform as that 2015 World Cup, and we're playing New Zealand, so it doesn't bring back positive memories of cricket. This one has been just picked up beautifully by Nasanka. He's put KG Rabada over the car corner boundary, and that's a pretty good 6. He's really the only thing keeping Sri Lanka in it at the moment, Nasanka. He's now on 63 out of Sri Lanka's 119. A pretty spectacular innings. I don't know what that noise means.
Looking at some of the betting odds that people are floating around at the moment, they are suggesting that South Africa are strong favourites at this very moment in time. 1-3 on, with Sri Lanka 12-5 are the odds for them at the moment. So strongly favouring South Africa. I think it's more even than that.
If it's more even, only a tiny bit more in my estimation. I don't know. I feel like South Africa should still do this more often than not. This one was hit up in the air, but landed in no man's land, and so it ended up just being a dot. I'll see what Winviz has to say. Winviz sometimes is very wrong, but it says 73% South Africa, Sri Lanka 27%.
Oh, it's too high for me. Yeah, I would go no more than 60-40 because it looks like South Africa going to have to chase at least 140, if not 150.
This one played into the offside, and they go through for a single. Reza Hendricks doing the fielding on that occasion. So Sri Lanka 121 for 6 at the moment. Yeah, we're still going to have to see another Anurag Nokia over, I think. And then, Rabada will be bowling the last. So that's aren't the easiest bowlers to get runs off of. And often when you do try to, you end up losing. You can score a few for a bit and then end up losing your wicket, as this one's picked up again brilliantly by Nasanka. He's deposited that over the mid-wicket boundary. That's run away for another 4. So he moves on to 68 out of 125. It's not quite Charles Bannerman levels, but he's doing well to score the majority of the Sri Lankan runs. That was an attempted off-cut today from Kagiso Rabada.
He's really playing the perfect innings for Sri Lanka. Really anchoring that from the start, ensuring they had one man in at the death. And now that he's come to the death, he's really accelerating well. 72 and 56 balls.
He follows up that 4 with another beautiful 4, just driven through the covers, and it runs over the rope for another one. He moves now on to 72, which is the highest score by Sri Lankan against South Africa in T20s this year. Overtaking Dinesh Chandamal, who's not in the playing 11. Sorry, carry on.
There must be little alarm bells starting to ring with 2 overs to go, and they're on 129. 150, that could be a big ask for South Africa.
Yeah, I don't want to even think about it. This was almost a scheduled win in my mind, and the idea that that's under threat, I refuse to acknowledge it. So the highest ever score by Sri Lankan against South African T20s is by Usuru Udana, who managed to score 84 not out. Usuru Udana, I think, has had a bit of a falling out with the Sri Lankan board and is unavailable to them at the moment. So I think he's going to go be a bit of a T20 mercenary, go ply his trade in the Caribbean Premier League, probably the Bangladeshi Premier League, all around the world, but not for the Sri Lankan international side. So Dwayne Pretorius, interestingly, is going to be bowling this one, which means maybe either way, one of Anurag Nokia or Kagiso Rabada aren't going to get the full 4 overs. My guess would be it's Rabada that's not going to after that expensive over. So Nokia will probably be bowling the 20th. The first delivery off this Pretorius over is just a 2 off the bats of Karunaratne. So he moves on to 5 off 4 and pushes the Sri Lankan cause to 131 for 7. I said somewhere in the region of 131. Things need to go right for South Africa for me to be close, with still 11 deliveries left in this innings. As Dwayne Pretorius bowls another full
Yeah, I
wide
think-
delivery, but this one's picked out Rassie van der Dussen at long on, and so he gets his second wicket. Dwayne Pretorius, that's the end of Karunaratne. It's not the danger man, but every wicket helps, as Karunaratne is dismissed now for 5 off 5, and we start to get into the more genuine tail enders of the Sri Lankan side. I imagine we might see Dushmantha Chamera come into the crease next, who's been bowling very quickly this World Cup, but isn't that well renowned with the bat. Yeah, he's got a batting average in
Yeah, and
T20
got ball, of
internationals
course,
of
as well.
4.87. So the next man, and probably Chamera, has an average of under 5 in T20 internationals. So we'll see exactly how that goes, assuming he is sent in next. That's the other thing that makes this English side so scary. Just the fact that the batting doesn't seem to stop. They've got Adil Rashid batting at 10 in most games. A man who has he's not a good T20 batsman, but he has 10 first-class centuries, and he's batting at number 10 for a T20 side. It is going to be Chamera to the crease. He averages 4.87 in T20 internationals, and against South Africa in particular, he's got a high score of 2. So we'll see how this goes. He's going to have to play one of his better innings to help the Sri Lankan cause. Dwayne Pretorius is into Nasanka. Of course, the batsman managed to cross on that last delivery. It's another full wide delivery. That's what the Sri Lankans are expecting at this point. Nasanka tries to reverse sweep that gets nothing on it, and so importantly, it's another dot delivery. My stream is okay. It paused for a bit at not the best time. Yeah, good take by Rassie van der Dussen, one that fielder of his quality should take every single time, but it's good to see that we are executing well in all regards. So Dwayne Pretorius coming in again, right on over into Nasanka. This one is hit high in the air. I don't think he's got all of that, and he hasn't. He's managed to pick up out the field that square leg. With the 3 pixels I do have, I think that's Anrich Nokia that's taken it. And so Pretorius takes his 3rd, and this is South Africa's 8th. And he now has figures.
And the biggest controller of net run rate is in force. The wickets are tumbling and the run rate is slowing. 131 for 8 at the moment.
And no batsman left. Any more runs will be a real bonus from the Sri Lankans. I don't know exactly what the method is there. Do you try bat out the whole 20 and hope that you basically, by doing so, you get a few runs? Or do these batsmen still have a swing and possibly lose everything in the process?
Well, at the moment, Pretorius is just being so crafty. That was a wonderful back to the hand, slower ball. To Nasanka.
Yeah.
And what a strike rate Dwayne Pretorius has. He's taken 6 wickets now in 4.5 overs. So that's 6 wickets and 27 balls in the last 2 games.
And we talk about
work at the deck.
bowlers bowling pies. Oh, wait. Bowlers bowling pies. Dwayne Pretorius right now has bowling figures which are an approximation for pies, rather. 3, 4, 14, 3, 1, 4 from Dwayne Pretorius. 2 left in his final over, and then I imagine we'll see Anrich Nokia. If, in fact, we get to see that over, because, of course, 2 deliveries left here, 2 wickets left to get Dwayne Pretorius in. Again, this one has been hit, and it's been hit quite well. It looks like it's going to hit the man who's sweeping on the onside, and they go through for 2 in the end. So Chamera equals his high score against South Africa with a decent strike rate. He's on 2 off 1. So 7 deliveries left in the Sri Lankan innings. They find themselves 133 for 8. And so Dwayne Pretorius' final delivery is dispatched, but it really holds up in the grass there. On a faster outfield that might have gone over the boundary for 4, but instead really sits up on Reza Hendricks, who's able to return it in, and they go through for just a single. And so we're going to get to see 2 tail enders probably face Anrich Nokia, which could make for some entertaining viewing.
And Dwayne Pretorius ends with 3 for 17 in 3 overs. Really a fantastic effort by the all-rounder again.
yeah, he's come into the side after not playing for South Africa this year, coming for the World Cup. It was a bit of COVID, a bit of injury. Hey, Ken, that's kept him out of the side up until this point. It wasn't just selected.
No, he had a wretched run of luck with injuries, and then he was meant to join the side in the West Indies, but failed a COVID test just before he got on the plane.
But I'm very happy to have him now. As much as I like Bjorn Mulder and Andile Petlakwai, I think in the shortest format, Dwayne Pretorius is our premier seaming all-rounder, and he's definitely hit the ground running as he's joined the side.
Just the advantage of a few more years of experience, Dwayne Pretorius. Now, Bjorn Mulder, hugely talented, Andile Petlakwai is experienced at international level as well. Maybe just a little bit off form lately.
So Chimera tries a big shot here against Anrich Nokia. It ends up just hitting him in the leg, and they go through for a single. So they move on to 135 off that. We're going to see Mahesh Tikshana face Anrich Nokia. Tikshana, who really ripped South Africa apart in the ODIs, and then I don't know if it was the pitches or the fact that the South Africans started to figure out what a carom ball looks like, but he wasn't quite as effective in the shortest format. Funny facial expressions there from Tikshana, a bit of gurning, but this delivery seems to rush him a bit, but they go through for at least one. It looks like they're actually going to make two. That's maybe sloppy fielding from South Africa there. I don't know if that should have been two in the end, but they have managed to do so, and so they've gone on to 137 now, Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I dare say Tikshana is going to have a bigger impact on this game with the ball. I do worry about him. Bit of a mystery spinner.
Yeah. On a turning pitch like we saw in that third ODI, South Africa might struggle. I don't know if this pitch has turned quite that much, but there's always a chance that one bowler can run through you in a T20. This one rushes Tikshana, but he gets a very thick outside edge as he tries to run away from it, and it goes down to third man boundary, and that's 4. And so Sri Lanka bring up 140 now. 141 they are, with 3 deliveries left. 7 runs already.
Rick Nokia looks thoroughly frustrated. I mean, that was a real number 11 shot. I know he's not the number 11, but he was backing miles away to leg and just sort of hung it back there in the hope that it might stop the ball from hitting his stumps, and took the edge and went for 4. No justice for the bowler.
Nokia in again to Mahesh Tikshana, who plays a good aggressive shot. It looks like it's just going to dribble to the man at long on, who's Adam Markram, and they go through for a single. So Nokia will be bowling to Chimera for the penultimate delivery of this first innings. And I can guess what that York means, but I'm ready to see it for myself. And Anrich Nokia does look like he feels disrespected, the fact that he's already gone for 8 runs off this final over. So he's going to be coming right arm over into Chimera, and that's all you need to do. Just pitch it on the wickets fast enough. He's dismissed that off stumps is out of the ground. The middle stump's also damaged. 149 kilometers an hour to who was the number 9 batsman. Or the number 10 batsman. No, it is the number 9. So, that's the end, is the point of Dushmantha Chimera. He goes for 3 runs off 4 deliveries, and there's 1 delivery and 1 wicket left in this Sri Lankan innings. They are currently 142 for 9, and Anrich Nokia has taken 2 of those 9 wickets.
Yeah,
that was
swipe by Dushmantha Chimera. Leg side slog.
So Lahiru Kumara is going to be the last man in for Sri Lanka. He, I think, made his debut in a test match against South Africa. I remember him having quite a good series, and he looked more like a rugby player than a fast bowler. He was very well built, and he was probably 19 or 20 at that point. He looked like he could be the next big thing in Sri Lankan fast bowling. He's been a decent player, but not quite lived up to at least the expectations that I projected onto him. As Anok Nokia bowls to Lahiri Kumara, there's a chance at a run out, and it is a run out to finish this innings. So Sri Lanka finished 142 all out. It could prove tricky. I really hope it doesn't, but it's not going to be the most comfortable chase in the world for the South African lineup, which has had a good bowling attack all throughout the last couple of years, but its batting has let it down on more than one occasion. Any final thoughts on the innings from either of you?
So South Africa need to match what the West Indies scored yesterday, batting first, batting second on the strip. And they're going to have to bat well to get over the line here, but it is critical that they do for their tournament hopes.
Yeah, we can't afford to lose this game,
Yeah, I think
especially
all in
with
all,
an
a
England
very
game still to come. Sorry, you go, Ken.
Yeah, a very polished performance by the Proteas in the field and with the ball. Kagiso Rabada really the only bowler to struggle, 3 overs for 32. So half the job done. And a target of 142, yeah, it's a slow pitch. Chasing has been difficult, but wickets up front, that's going to be the key thing. South Africa must just make sure that they don't lose any wickets to Chamira or to the spinners in the power play. And just a solid platform with men in towards the end should see them make this chase.
Cool. That's probably it from us, and we'll see you at the other in 10-15 minutes for the second innings in the South African chase. I think we'll have an all new cast on there, and yeah, look forward to seeing that.
Well, thanks, guys. It's been great to be with you this afternoon. I trust that you all have a good afternoon, and we'll be applauding a South African win come the end of the afternoon. But looking forward to the run chase with Simon and Otto a bit later on.
Thanks, Ian and Chris, and enjoy the chase.
Hi, everyone. My apologies. I was busy doing something else.
No need to apologize. As Manta Chamera comes in for his first delivery over the wicket to Quinton de Kock, and it's a single backward of square on the leg side to the left-hander. And South Africa are off the mark, 1 without loss in the first over. How are you, Simon?
I'm very, very well, thanks, Otto. Lovely to see you, and I'm very, very pleased that we are with Ian as well, who has fled
Hello,
our
guys.
cause about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was lovely to hear him on the mic a little earlier.
Absolutely.
It's great to be here. My last stint on commentary was pre-COVID for the Women's World Cup, T20 World Cup final between India and Australia.
Oh my
Chamera
word.
2 Hendricks
Long
just
time.
dabs this one backward of square on the offside to the man inside the circle at backward point, and is a dot ball. The first dot ball of South Africa's innings. They're chasing 143 to keep themselves in the hunt, to keep us in the hunt for a
Chaps,
spot
I'm
in
going
the
to quickly
semis.
do some admin, so if I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Cheers, Simon. Thank you. Chamera comes in again, right arm over the wicket to the right-handed. Reza Hendricks, he dabs this one into the mid-wicket area where there's a fielder and there's another dot ball. Ian, how's the weather there?
Yes, sir. Hey, it is absolutely mislook. It is cold and wet and dreary. I think the sun rose this morning at a little after 9 o'clock in the morning, which is something I'm not used to at all. Yeah, there's cricket on the TV, so life is good.
Life is good indeed.
Hendricks works his ball away on the side.
Yeah, just down to square leg.
Yes, South Africa are going to have to do some seriously hard graft. I think that 143 is a challenging total on this pitch, batting second.
Absolutely.
I'm not convinced that this is an easy task at hand.
Not at all. And our batters owe us quite a few runs, our top order especially, our openers.
Yep.
Our top order, number 3 to 5. We've seen some glimpses against the West Indies, and now it's a real challenge. Chamera 2, Quinton de Kock plays this one straight back to the bowler for no run. Dushmanta Chamera is cranking it up to 147 kph, 91 miles per hour. 2 without loss, 1 ball to go in the first over, so good start. No, it's a no ball. Overstepping, and it's a free hit to QDK. So Chamera just...
That was a very key part of the South African bowling. It was the very disciplined bowling from the South Africans. A couple down the leg side, but other than that, those front feet were staying behind the white line.
Yeah, which is can be a big factor in this format. As Chamera comes in now to Quinton de Kock on the leg side, leading edge out to backward point, and they take a quick single, and that's another one to the total, 4 without loss after the first over. We'll just get confirmation here now. I think that there's 1 ball to go. There's still 1 ball to go in Chamera's first over. He'll be going to Reza Hendricks. We see a replay here, full and just outside leg stump. Good free hit delivery there.
Yeah, and South Africa are going to have to look to make sure that they keep up with the rate and not fall behind, because that scoreboard pressure will tell big time in this second innings.
Now, Chamera to Hendricks, he pushes this one outside off stump into the leg side for a dot ball. And that is the end of the first over, 4 without loss. Yeah, that was a big factor, I think, in the West Indies match, where the chasing South African team, chasing that score, managed to get in front of the required rate and managed to really make it look easy in the end. And it wasn't an easy chase against the quality attack So let's see if they can repeat that today. I'm very, very happy to see QDK back in the side. Hopefully they've had a chat to him and they've sorted out all those symbolisms and gestures and explained to him why it's important and all of that stuff. And yeah, let's hope that the South Africans can put that behind them. As I said on Tuesday, it's good that the controversy happened in the second game and not the semi-final this time around. And it's going to be interesting to see what QDK can do here. Reza Hendricks retaining his place. Who did they sacrifice in his spot to keep him in the side?
Heinrich Klaassen.
Good call. Good call.
Landed up, yeah. Which made sense. You can't punish the guy who came out and did a good job last time out.
No, he did an excellent job. Yeah. So it is Tikshana into Quinton de Kock, and he smashes this one for 4 behind square on the leg side. Good shot there by Quinton de Kock. I think Tikshana there straying in his line a little bit, but.
Yeah, you can't fix the ball outside the leg stump and think you're going to get away with that to QDK. He's going to capitalize. A nice capitalization from South Africa there.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting talking about the whole Quinton de Kock issue. For the first time, I was attending the Wanderers practice on Wednesday night, and for the first time, the girls were debating the whole Black Lives Matter issue. It started off with whether or not you should take the knee, as I'll let Otto do the ball bubble. Otto, are you there? Okay, Otto appears to have frozen. Ian, you and I are still live.
Yes, I'll take up the ball bubble. Yeah.
Excellent.
So ball in here, and ball is played out into the offside and into the deep. I don't think there's enough legs on it. It looks like they'll have to settle for 2 runs, and that's Reza Hendricks, who moves along to 3 from 5 deliveries. Quinton de Kock on 6 off of 5, as Tikshana is 0 for 7 off of his first 3 deliveries in the match, and South Africa up to 11 without loss in the second over.
Yeah, so I mean, as I was saying, so the girls were, it started off as the coach actually asked me what I thought.
This next ball into the onside and goes out to Ward's long on, and a single there for Reza Hendricks.
But it was very, very interesting that for the first time, a lot of the girls of color were able to say, why this is such an important issue for them. And, with all of these things, you had to really be careful that the conversation didn't get out of hand, particularly in a South African context. But I thought, if nothing else, it actually forced the one cricket team that I'm involved with anyway to have that conversation. The next ball
is driven. Yeah. The conversations are all very important as this next ball is played out into the onside by Quinton de Kock, and it's another single that is accumulated. South Africa moving along nicely, 13 without loss, with 1 delivery left in the second over. The conversation's important, but what's even more important is the unequivocal stance. As this last ball of the over is misfielded by the bowler, and they're able to pick up another single. 7 and over at the moment, 14 without loss, 2 overs gone. Target 143. The conversation, but what's more important is to have a unified position across the board, so that everybody gets behind it, and it's clearly not. Misunderstood, and it's very simple in terms of this is what it means, this is what it's about, and we're all behind it. It's done. The problem is when you start having varying colors of the interpretation, then that causes trouble.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
In England right now, they've got this massive problem with Yorkshire. You have England presenting a non-negotiable position on racism, sexism, and all of that, and yet you have a club turning around and saying nothing to see here. We're not punishing anyone for bad behaviour.
Later Kumara comes in over
so,
the wicket to Hendricks, and this one is off the thick inside edge, and they take a quick single down to backward square leg. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the Yorkshire issue.
And I personally feel that in terms of the subject, what ends up being more so is that I believe that the more informed we become as people, the more open we are to receiving information, the more confusing it becomes because people don't know what to believe, particularly when it comes to social media and the amount of information that's being peddled. And I will say peddled because a lot of it is misinformation and misdirection and misunderstood.
Yeah. So Quinton on strike to Laira Kumara. He works this one off his leg stump down to backward square leg, and they take an easy single. Score moves on to 16 without loss.
I must say, Otto, I don't know what you did while you were away, but your sound quality is much, much better now.
It's Chrome. I'm using Chrome instead of Firefox. So
okay.
Firefox.
That's a level of sophistication that would definitely be beyond me to have thought of. I mean, I know how to use Chrome and Firefox, but I wouldn't have thought to switch them.
The StreamYard site actually tells you if you're having trouble, try using Chrome.
Okay.
Kumara into Riza Hendricks, defensive shot straight to the man at cover, no run. Yeah, I agree with you, Ian. People have all kinds of things that they've latched onto this whole equality movement, which shouldn't be an argument. And frankly, the fact that we have to have a movement for equality in 2021 is a problem. I mean, that is just, it's abhorrent. The fact that there's still an issue like that. Kumara into Hendricks. He flicks this one off his pads out to square leg, and it's probably just an easy single there. Indeed, it is 17 without loss, and there are 2 balls to go in the third over.
I mean, there's another interesting point which occurred to me during the Me Too movement, but definitely applies to Black Lives Matter as well. Is that we as white males, and and urbane white males who are well educated and can speak good English and all of those sort of things, we're so used to being opinion leaders in anything that's going on, and both of those issues actually are an opportunity to sit down, shut up, and actually listen to other people for a change.
Spot on, correct.
And I think that's been a really, really important lesson to me in particular. Through
Kumara to Quinton de Kock. He gets this one past the man at mid-on inside the circle through to the boundary. 4 runs to 21 without loss.
This is a fantastic start for South Africa, going along at the required rate. This takes the pressure off of the batsmen to follow, and also making sure that they use the power play to their advantage and score the runs at the top of the order, which is something that has been highlighted throughout the tournament because the pitches will get lower and slower.
And I must just say, I am so grateful that Quinny didn't edge off first ball today. That he is actually looking like...
Kumara to Quinton de Kock plays this one lazily out to mid-off, no run. End of the third over, 21 without loss, 7 runs per over so far. So good stuff here from the 2 openers.
I mean, it could so easily have been, South Africa get put into bats. Quinny's mind is scrambled by everything that's happened, and he has a wild swipe at something. But that hasn't happened. He's had a solid game so far, had a good run out. Not sure if he took any catches behind the wicket. I don't think he did. And now at least on the way so South Africa 21 without loss after 3, which is exactly the run rate that they need, chasing 142. So as near as damn it to 7 runs and over. I'm completely with what Chris said about this. I'll tell you this in a moment.
Jamira into Riza Hendricks, and he gets a thick inside edge. It beats everybody. It beats the stumps. It goes to the boundary. 4 more runs. 25 without loss now. Bit of a
I'm completely with what Chris said about this game. That this is one that I just filed under. Well, we're obviously going to win that. And to see Sri Lanka get to 140 has been a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I looked at the total and I'm sort of putting it there. If it was over 150, I was going to put it beyond South Africa. I think this is in that gap where it can go both ways.
And Reza Hendricks facing Chamira once again. There's an appeal for LBW and he's out, given out by the umpire. I'm not sure where that ball went exactly. Reza Hendricks is looking at Quinton. He's nodding his head. Is he going to appeal this, ask for a review? It looks like he's sticking around.
Yeah, I didn't like this for height.
Just about running out.
I think they did. They have asked for the review.
Okay, all right.
My immediate thought was this was a little bit high, but he was right back on his crease.
Let's see the first replay here. The ball is
top of off,
pitching in line. It's hitting top of middle and leg. I think
that's very
maybe that's probably plumb. It's not lifted up nearly enough to go over the stumps, and I don't think it's missing leg. It struck him just about in front of middle and leg. Hawkeye now, no bat involved, and it's going to be it's all red, hitting the wickets. Review lost for South Africa. Reza Hendricks loses his wicket, and
I must say that this umpire Wilson is one of the most considered umpires I have watched in a very, very long time. He does not rush any decision, and he doesn't hint either which way he's leaning. It's all of a sudden he's made a decision and he gives you his answer. He's very considered, and I think he's a very good umpire.
Hendricks out for 11 or 12.
We're trained as umpires to always give 3 seconds before you give an LBW. But I'm very, very guilty of there are times when you would have appealed yourself. And you stick the guys straight away.
The ball's halfway down the pitch, Simon, and you're already giving them out.
Exactly. You have a look at that and you go, oh, you're right, I'll have some of that. I actually got into a situation where I was umpiring, in fact, a slice Reclabo who is bowled for South Africa. And it was the first time I'd ever umpired her. And
Rassie van der Dussen facing Chamira now, first delivery. He's to the crease now, and this one is on the stumps, and it's just flicked down. They're going to come back for 2 as the ball goes out to mid-wicket. No, Rassie is... did they make 2 there? No, I think Rassie was sent back, so 1 run there to Rassie van der Dussen. Yeah.
So anyway, Slice has a weird bowling action where she sticks her foot straight out, her leg straight out, so it looks like it's way over the line. And then she bends her knee and brings the foot straight down. And I was already calling no ball before she had, my mind had already said, this is definitely going to be a no ball. And I had to call no ball and then dead ball while the ball was in the air. It was not my best moment as an umpire.
Chamira in again, right arm over the wicket to the right, to the left-handed Quinton de Kock. This one is a top edge. It's flying high up into the air. There's 3 players converging on it. Chamira gets the catch off his own bowling. That's the end
Big
of
trouble.
Quinton de Kock. He goes for 12 of 10. And South Africa 26 for 2 now after 3.4 overs.
This is big trouble for South Africa.
Good start for Sri Lanka. Not ideal for South Africa, and it's once again up to the number 3 and 4 to try and rescue something here in the power play. Quinton tried to pull that one. It was just below his shoulders, going across him, and just didn't get all of it. Thick top edge there, high up into the air, enough time for Chamira to run down almost next to Quinton and take the catch. So de Kock is done for 12 of 10. Cotton bowled Chamira.
Yeah, unfortunately, a classic Quinton dismissal that. He is so vulnerable to getting a top edge cross bat shot when he's just as he's beginning to feel comfortable. And it happens round about the sort of 20 to 30 mark in tests. And it happens round about here, the sort of 12 to 15 to 20 in limited overs cricket. And you could see he was irritated with himself there.
Bavuma comes to the crease, the captain for South Africa is a right-hander. So 2 right-handers now. Chamira in his second over, 2 for 8 of 1.4. And let's see.
Glory time here for these 2 batsmen. They need to put together a 100-run partnership, I think.
Yeah, Bavuma just flicks this one off leg stump. It looks like it was a bit of a leading edge, just into the onside for no run. Yeah, I think they can just get 2 or 3 deliveries under the belt before they start swinging. It's a
well, they don't
ground.
need to swing. I mean, they need to score 7 runs and over.
Ones and twos.
You can prod around for 7 runs and over without any real drama at all. There's no reason to swing hard.
Yeah, so I mean that's the way Quinton de Kock plays. This one too, Bavuma just defended back down to the bowler, down the pitch, no run. We know that's the way Quinton plays. Sometimes it works, but here and there he just makes himself look silly.
Ian, while we're in the overs break, will you just fill us in on the Yorkshire issue? I'm not familiar with it at all.
There has been a player in the Yorkshire camp who is alleging serious discrimination within the Yorkshire dressing room. Yorkshire then delivered an apology and an investigation. And they said out of that investigation that nothing was to be done against anybody and there will be no further action taken, despite the fact that they've apologized for discriminatory behavior towards their player. And England have now had to intervene and say they will be launching their own investigation into the matter.
Right. So they've you can't have both sides of that. You can't apologize and then say nothing happened, can you?
Well, what they're saying is something happened, but no one needs to be held accountable for it. There's
facing Lahiru Kumara, just defended this one, and it went down to the backward square leg boundary for 2 runs.
So in essence, what they're saying is that's the way we used to do things, and it wasn't deliberate. It wasn't done with malice or intent to cause personal harm. It was done out of ignorance, as opposed to as opposed to being done with malice. So therefore, no one needs to be held accountable.
But now, I mean that's an interesting one, because if it is genuinely ignorance, I certainly want a rap over the knuckles, but I don't want someone to be
Van Addition defends this one, and it's straight to the man at short extra cover. They take a quick single for the overthrow. There was no need to throw that. They get 2 for the overthrow. The man at extra cover or mid off just threw that into the stumps as Bavuma made his ground. By the time the player picked up the ball, went past the man at shortish mid-on down to vacant area where deep mid-wicket had to run around and field that. Kumara in again to Van Addition, this time straight back to the bowler, and it's a throw at the stumps. Kumara is quite agitated here. He's asking for the run out. But seems like he's a bit hot-headed.
What he's asking for is obstructing the field.
Yeah.
But the batsman, for it to be given out obstructing the field, the batsman needs to move into the line of the throw. And what the batsman did was stand his ground. So this is gonna be kind of interesting. And certainly as an umpire, I would say this is absolutely not out. The batsman stood where he was. If the batsman had moved into the line, then we didn't actually really explain properly what happened there. So Kumara fielded off his own bowling, and then I think the batsman was out of his crease, and he threw it at the striker's end. And Rassie van der Dussen just stood his ground, did not in any way move to intercept the ball, and it's struck him.
But I think Kumara is having a problem with this because he hit Rassie's bat, but Rassie didn't move. He just
Rassie did sort of instinctively play it when it was thrown.
But it would have hit him on the pads anyway.
Because he
didn't move the bat anywhere. He just stop the
Well,
ball
he
from
did
hitting
sort
him
of
on
move the bat into the. Okay, it's been given not out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Rassie had been outside the leg stump and then taken a step in,
Yeah.
he would have been out.
Yeah, so
But as
dot
it
ball
was,
there.
yeah, the fact that he actually
But-
hit it deliberately, I don't think is a problem.
Yeah, and a nice drive there by Rassie van der Dussen out to the man at mid-off. And they throw the ball back, but there's no run. There's a single taken. Good work there in the field. Diving to his left there was, I think that's the captain, Dashun Shanaka, diving to his left there to stop that ball. Yeah, I mean, Rassie didn't move his body, but he moved the bat in front of his pads to stop the ball
Yeah.
from hurting him potentially.
Yeah.
So Kumara in again to Bavuma. And this one is just dabbed out to point for no run. Man running in there, James fielding 31 for 2 after 4.5. And Lahiru Kumara is on 12 for no wicket with 1 ball to go in his second over.
I absolutely expect to see that incident in my umpires exams this time next year. I just wrote my my level 2 last week, so a lot of the stuff is very, very fresh in my mind at the moment.
Kumara
And,
over the wicket, full toss to Bavuma. He drives this one straight to mid-off and a quick single taken and no overthrows this time. That is the end of the 5th over. South Africa are 32 for 2. So Sri Lanka clawing back the run rate to just over 6 and over.
Yeah.
One run behind the required rate at the moment are South Africa. So they are 5. They should have been at least around 35, 36. So they're just 3 runs behind the required rate.
So, with regards to the Yorkshire incident, by the way, my feelings about it and was just a statement that is it's an implication that it's not institutional racism but ignorance. The full report is not being made public at this point in time.
Okay.
So there is no public information. It is just my inference that sort of is saying nothing to see here. However, the ECB will be getting the report. The Parliamentary Committee on Sport want to see the report. The thing is that the committee that formatted the report, you were starting to think that, well, it'll be interesting to know the names of these people, and I'll chat about that just now.
Chamika Karunaratne into the attack, right arm over the wicket. He's bowling to the captain, Temba Bavuma. Wild drive outside, or attempted cover drive by Bavuma outside off stump. The ball keeps low and goes past the stumps to the keeper. No run.
So there was a 5-person panel that did the review. And of that 5-person panel, you would expect to hear names like Stephen Willis and Helen Hyde. But it's the other 3 panel members that you now start to say, okay, so there's some balance to this. Dr. Samir Patek, Rehana Azib, and Mesbah Ahmed. So
Karunaratne into Bavuma. He drives this one to mid-on. It's misfielded by the man at mid-on, and they go through for just a single. They thought of taking the 2, but Bavuma went flying in, and we saw a replay of that previous over, last delivery. Bavuma would have been out with a direct hit, but taking the quick singles once again. He's not got any demons in his mind about running himself out in the last game against the West Indies. He's still taking the quick singles. Required rate now 7.5. Acquired rate 6.1. Score is 33 for 2. Van der Dussen will now face Karunaratne. Over the wicket to Van der Dussen, now driven straight past the bowler to mid-off, and another quick single taken. These 2 are running really well.
some very, very sharp running from the South African batsman.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be crucial because it's not a wicket where you want to be playing cross bat shots. It's a bit of a low bounce wicket, so you want to be playing with a straight bat. You want Van der Dussen would have been out with a direct hit there.
Yes.
So cheeky single, we should say, rather than a quick single. But they managed to make it through in the end, and Bavuma now facing Karunaratne, and he chops this one down just outside his off stump, and it rolls past the wickets there. Bavuma back to stop that ball from going onto his stumps, but no danger of that. 34 for 2, 2 balls to go in the 6th. And this Sri Lanka side, they box clever. I mean, you've got to be on top of your game to beat them, and they're showing why.
I'm going to do a couple of tweets as we go through the next couple of balls. So Pirate Badger said, I think Sri Lanka have gotten enough here to plausibly defend if things go their way, which is pretty much what you were saying, Otter. I am worried about this. I do think that this is going to be very, very tricky indeed.
Yeah, Bavuma facing Karunaratne dabs this one into the offside, and they go through for another quick single. The man running in from backward point couldn't quite collect that ball, but Rassi was there as the fielder would have picked it up anyway. 35 for 2, 1 ball to go in the 6th.
Josie Oak says, Gorilla SA, you're doomed. It wouldn't be a broadcast if Josie Oak didn't tell us we were doing.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Remember to to follow our YouTube channel. We're on Facebook. We're on all the social media channels. Van der Dussen plays this one out to mid-on. They take another cheeky single, another overthrow. Is that going to go to the boundary? 2 fielders missed it, and it's a 4 overthrow. So 5 runs off that last delivery of the power play means that South Africa will be on 40 for 2, I think.
Wonderful pressure.
Update the score, 40 for 2 after 6. So just 2 runs shy of the 7 and over required rate. Good work by the batters in the power play. Only 2 wickets down.
One of the irritating situations there as an umpire where there is no signal for overthrow. So they crossed at the time or before the fielder threw it. This law we now all know because of the World Cup final, and therefore it was 5. But there's no signal to show that to the scorers because you should be able to signal 5 or 6 or 7 in that circumstance, and you can't. So at my level, you yell at the scorers, tell them exactly what happened. I have no idea what these guys do at this level.
At this level, they've got walkie-talkies, man.
Walkie-talkies.
They've got,
we sometimes have walkie-talkies at our level as well. We've, in fact, I'm due to go to China Mart shortly to get my own walkie-talkies. They definitely make the whole thing a lot more salubrious.
Yes. Does that mean a bit more civilized with less yelling?
A bit more civilized, yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Instead of yelling, Bowler's name. I was telling you a story about Bowler's name after this ball, actually. Let me quickly give you another tweet. Pirate Badshah saying Sri Lanka are all over South Africa like a cheap suit. That was from about 11 minutes ago. So
maybe
that was when we just lost those 2 wickets.
Okay, yes. No, maybe not so much anymore. It's steady as she goes for Bavuma and Van der Dussen. I'd love to see these two just take it deep. And it is Hasaranga into the attack, goes to Rassi Van der Dussen. He plays this just behind square on the leg side. They take another cheeky single safely through. Is Bavuma to the danger end there? 41 for 2.
So we've got a spinner on. So my bowler's name story is going to take a couple of balls. But my daughter, Amy, is an umpire, as you guys know. And one of the very, very first games she ever did was a charity match where they had various celebrities playing. And one of the guys playing was
Asaranga into Bavuma, and he defends this one outside off stump into the covers. They take an easy single there. Just evaded the fielder standing at cover. Single, 42 for 2 now. The answer to the universe and everything. Life, the universe, and everything. 42.
And it's 42.2, which is, which of course is the length of the marathon.
Yes, of course.
So anyway, I mean, Amy doesn't know who the hell Clive Extian is. At the time, he was head of commerce for CSA.
Asaranga to Van der Dussen plays this into the mid-wicket area for another single. This is all we need. Singles and twos is all we need.
And I know that I watched his final test match when he bowled to Jack Russell and Mike Atherton for an entire day at the Wanderers and wasn't able to get them out.
Asaranga to Bavuma. It looks like there's an appeal for LBW. The ball squirts out to behind point as Bavuma tried to pull this into mid-wicket, tried to send it over cow corner, but I think there was an inside edge onto his pads. We'll see a replay now. And the No, it struck him outside leg. Assalanka
Yeah.
into Bavuma once again, plays the slog across the line out to the fielder at short mid-wicket, no run. Temba. He looks like he's trying to roll his wrists over the ball. So he's trying to keep it down at least. As he faces Assalanka once again outside off stump, and it's driven off the front foot. Bavuma coming forward to the man sweeping in the cover region, and they take a single.
So the win predictor, the win predictor, by the way, was towards the end of the innings was at 73% in favour of South Africa. That has now narrowed to 54%.
I wouldn't have given it 73% to South Africa.
We were horrified when we saw that. At best, it was 60-40.
There's a fantastic image in the crowd of a little girl who's watching YouTube on her mom's phone, and they showed her on screen, and her mom and her littlest sister were both enthusiastically trying to get her to unplug herself from. I can't even think what do 6-year-old girls watch on YouTube these days? I was going to say SpongeBob SquarePants, but it's definitely not.
They watch other 6-year-old girls playing with their toys.
Yes. That's exactly what she was doing. And they were both trying to get her to look up at the big screen to show, look, you're on TV. And she was having none of it and slapping their hands away while she was watching her video. So anyway, so Clive Exton comes on to bowl, and Amy turns to him and says, bowler's name? And Clive's face was priceless.
Karunaratne into Bavuma. He plays this out to long on for a single. Start of the 8th over, 45 for 2. Yeah, that puts you in your place. Hey, that brings you right back down to earth.
Yeah, sporting celebrity only lasts for as long as it's you will always be in the mind of whoever was 12 when you were at your peak. I think basically, and anyone who comes after that.
In again to Van der Dussen, drives this one square on the offside. The sweeper will pick it up on the boundary about 20 meters in. Just a single there. Yeah, well, it's good to know, Simon, that you didn't force Amy to watch years and years of archive footage.
Look, I mean, if it had been Graham Pollock or
the only way
maybe
that she would have known Clive Exton from sight.
Perhaps Clive Rice.
Yeah, she might have caught that from the book covers on your bookshelf. You know, the photos on the book covers.
Look, it's hard enough getting Amy to watch men's cricket as it is. Her knowledge of women's cricket is encyclopedic.
Karunaratne to Bavuma. He tries to scoop this over the wicket keeper, and there's an appeal for LBW. It looks like they are very animated, the Sri Lankans, or a catch maybe.
I think they think he's got him caught.
This is, so unnecessary, guys. 7 runs and over, and you're going for the Dill scoop. It's not required. As Rassie van der Dussen shows his views on it by pulling his pants down.
Maybe Temba is thinking here, let me go and be a pinch hitter. Let me go in and, he's got...
no bat. No bat there. Could be glove or LB.
Yeah, it goes underneath Temba's...
it might well hit his glove on the way up, eh?
And then it hits him on the leg, and it's pretty much umpire's call in terms of the line, I think, outside the line.
It might have hit him just outside umpire's call.
Yeah.
Just with the naked eye, this should be out.
Yeah, it's not out by the umpire, so that saves Temba Bavuma's blushes, and Sri Lanka retain their review. And Joel Wilson tilts his head, saying, I didn't...
so Joe knows that he probably got that right. You can see his body language. But I must admit, as it happened, when something happens like that, it's outside of your frame as an umpire. There's certain types of LBWs that you just know, boom, that's out. Or boom, that's not out. When something weird goes on, a guy's trying to scoop and he's switch hitting or whatever like that, you actually have to go back to first principles and replay it in your mind, and it becomes very, very difficult to know.
Karunaratne in again to Bavuma. This time it's driven from outside off, just a flick down to long on for a single.
The key point there, this shot has not cost us a wicket.
Yeah, thank goodness. So we got a tweet from Njabulu Majozi Nkambu, who says, seems like that's a difficult pitch to bat on. Which is
it has been
probably right.
Yeah, throughout the qualifiers, as soon as the ball goes soft, it becomes really difficult. And we saw all the qualifier games in Sharjah, the majority of runs, the bulk of runs being scored at the top of the innings. So hard work ahead for South Africa. Van der Dussen facing Karunaratne. Slower ball outside off stump. He just dabs it down. The wicketkeeper comes forward, takes the stumps, but Bavuma was already past the stumps as he hit them. That is a single, 48 for 2. End of the 8th. One ball to go in the 8th over, 48 for 2. It's a good work here by Sri Lanka. They're keeping the run rate close to 6, where South Africa would want it to be closer to 8.
Josie Oak has a very, very good question for us. He says, has anyone actually had a cheap suit that was all over them?
A philosophical question.
Yes. I've never quite understood. I mean, it's a delightful idiom, but I've never quite fully understood it.
This one by Karunaratne is wide outside off stump, and umpire Wilson says, yes, that was too wide. So that is 49 for 2 and still one ball to go. I think the saying comes from the fact that if you don't have a proper tailored suit, it just looks like the suit is wearing you as opposed to you wearing the suit. You know, it looks uncomfortable. You get uncomfortable when you look at somebody who's wearing a suit like that. Bavuma plays this one out to cover, and it's a run out. Rassie van der Dussen backing up, can't make his ground back, and it's a run out, backing up. Van der Dussen at the non-striker's end as Bavuma sent that ball straight to the fielder at wide-ish mid-off, and the throw coming in, and Rassie van der Dussen got himself in a tangle there as he tried to make it back to his crease. He's gone for 16 off 11. Run out at the non-striker's end, backing up. It was a yes, no, and then as Rassie came back, he didn't quite get, well, he was just too far away from the wickets, and a throw right at the base of the stumps, as you are taught. And it's Dashun Shanaka, the captain, I think, who got that run out there. Rassie van der Dussen has to go for 16.
Yeah, that was not what was needed here. We need level heads in this chase, and we've seen Bavuma trying to scoop for no reason. We've now seen a silly run out, and I really, really worry for South Africa here. 49 for 3. I must admit, though, this idea of having someone like Aiden Markram walk in at 5 is, I mean, you wouldn't want anyone better in a situation like this where you do need level heads and you do need someone who can build an innings. So this idea of picking 4 openers, I really, really like for South Africa.
Yeah, and it's 4 openers who can actually score quickly if they want to, if they get an opportunity to. Sometimes Rassie will chow up a few deliveries before he gets going. But somebody like Aiden gets his eye in quickly usually, but this is a difficult pitch to bat on. Once again, we've seen it in the qualifiers and in the Super 12 so far. So Markram will face Assalanka, and this one is on leg stump. It's just played lazily out to long on for a single by Markram, and he's off the mark. 50 up for South Africa. We made it to 50, third of the way there. Rassie was very disappointed with himself, but that I'm not sure if that was a confusion, but Assalanka anyway goes to Bavuma, drives this one off the outside off stump line, and it is a single. That's all we need. Singles and twos. Singles and twos. That should be the mantra going through the South African team right now. Singles and twos. Singles and twos. Keep it on the ground. Keep it on the ground. Assalanka to Markram. Plays this one to the man diving at the short, wide-ish mid-on, and there's no run. So we can see there that Rassie was sort of on his way to back up and then just went too far away from his crease. Couldn't make it back in time. Assalanka now to Markram. Again, plays this one straight to the man there. What is that? A shortish, wide mid-on. Yeah, just about 2 pitch widths away
short
from
mid
the
wicket,
stumps in short mid wicket. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
yeah.
Asaranga in again over the wicket to Markram, and this is fielded by the bowler himself. Another dot ball. Now this is going to build pressure because we've been behind the run rate, and now every dot ball is going to be a problem for South Africa. And there's a dropped catch spotted by the TV producer.
This was the one that was given wide, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
So the statement, statement all over him like a cheap suit, apparently is not an old statement. It only dates back to 1974, not my knowing. This is a Google search now.
Okay.
And it refers to someone being made to feel uncomfortable or out of place, which goes back to what Otto said. A cheap suit doesn't seem to fit in all the right places, be it the seams or the legs or the arms or something, as opposed to a Savile Row suit, which fits in all the right places. So when you say I'm all over him like a cheap suit, it actually dates to a statement made in a book where a guy gets invited into an apartment and the woman in her infamous manner was all over him like a cheap suit, so she made him feel uncomfortable.
Oh, gosh. So I read something astonishing this week from the same period of time. That was the late 70s.
Yeah, 1974, yeah.
Do you know the concept of a high five dates back to round about 1978? And the phrase high five is from 1980. It didn't exist in the 60s. Can you believe that? Mind you, this is something that I read on the internet, so it might be wrong.
I can believe that, or I could not. Karunaratne over the wicket to Markram, and it's a thick inside edge down to the man inside the ring at fine leg. Are they going to get more overthrows here? Wild throw from the man at fine leg inside the circle, way past the stumps, nowhere near anything. Oh, it would have been a close one, but we see replays here of Sri Lanka's fielding. They're going for the runouts, and when it hits, you're out. As we see Van der Dussen there sliding.
Speaking of cheap suits, we probably need to have a discussion about Aiden Markram's sleeves.
Karunaratne into Markram plays this one to Bavuma, excuse me, and he plays this one into the covers for 2. Just evaded the fielders in the ring, and they managed to get the 2 there. Good running. Bavuma's into double figures. He is on 10 of 18. Markram on 3 of 6, 55 for 3 after 9.2. So the run rate is now on just above 6. We needed to be around 8 on this wicket, I think, at this point. So there's a few runs short. We need to be at least 72 now. And Karunaratne in again to Bavuma, drives this nicely off the front foot. The sweeper in the boundary is at the boundary on the offside is going to cut it off, but Bavuma gets back for 2. That is what we need. 2 runs.
So, guys, the question now goes out. We're falling behind the run rate. We're getting on the back foot a little bit here. No panic yet. But who is our Asif Ali?
I'm assuming we can bring Lance Klusner in still.
Isn't he at the ground? Isn't he in the... No, whose camp is he in? I saw him coaching.
Is he really? Is he coaching?
Yeah. He's some kind of consultant or coach for one of the teams. I can't remember.
What, though? Oh, I suppose he's smashing it. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Karunaratne comes in again over the wicket to Bavuma. He flicks this outside off stump into the mid-wicket area. The man has to come in from the boundary, and they take an easy single. That's all we need, please. Nothing more.
He coached the Dolphins for a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
But he's never coached the Proteas, I don't think, or been involved in the Proteas setup, I don't think.
I don't think, Simon, you would have enjoyed working with him from a media perspective.
Oh, really? Was he quite something?
Not the friendliest disposition. Let's be that kind.
Karunaratne into Markram, who drives this one beautifully through extra cover. It goes over the boundary, 4 runs. So needed for South Africa at this point. Low risk shot, just bisecting the fielders in the ring. Nobody out there on that extra cover boundary, deep extra cover boundary, wide outside off stump, good length ball, and that very nice looking cover drive by Aiden Markram that he plays so well.
Shot.
Yeah, it's
Such a good shot, this.
Went
Yeah.
looping through the air, bouncing just outside the ring, but nowhere near any fielder. Karunaratne comes in again to Markram, and this time he just lazily strokes this one out to the offside for a dot ball. And it's 62 for 3 after 10, 6.2 runs per over. And South Africa need another 81 to win. So it's now 8 runs and over required. And that will be a drinks break.
It will be a drinks break indeed, and I'll be with you guys through the drinks break. And I need to just go and take care of something for 2 or 3 minutes. But so South Africa 62 for 3 at the moment after 10 overs. Sri Lanka scored 142. So South Africa scoring at that 6.2 runs and over. They need now 8.1, which should be very, very doable with 7 wickets standing. But as we have suspected, this is not a great pitch to bat on. The win probability still has South Africa at 58% and Sri Lanka 41%. I would say that's probably realistic. I think I'd still be disappointed if we didn't win from here, but it's
So,
not.
guys,
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, I love watching betting odds, in-play betting odds.
Mhm.
At the start of the innings, South Africa were 2 to 5 odds-on favourites to win the game.
Mhm.
Now, Sri Lanka are 8 to 13 on to win the game, and South Africa are now 13 to 10.
Okay,
Which
so it's
means
shifted
that it's
to Sri
totally
Lanka's favour.
They're saying it's now clearly in Sri Lanka's favour.
Okay, and of course those guys actually have proper skin in the game, whereas
Yeah.
the win probability is just
An algorithm.
on
Yeah.
Cricinfo is some intern who's sucking it out of his thumb.
I'm very interested to find out where that win predictor figure comes from, because it has been a little bit all over the place. It's probably being updated and retrained. I wonder if it's actually a machine learning model or if it is actually just somebody thumb sucking it.
No, don't you think it's a little bit more difficult? I think that, when you use win predictor in something like a test match, you can figure things out and you can say, well, that makes sense. But I think with the variability of a T20 game, 1 over, it can change everything.
So it has to be updated like after each ball.
Wow. And it can really get variable. So I don't blame Win Predictor. It uses an algorithm and it tries to figure things out. And I'm sure that I trust people don't part with money based on the Win Predictor.
Just excuse me for 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Cool.
Okay, cool, no problem. Some of the other news going on around the world is that Arsenal leads Leicester City by 2-0 after 53 minutes.
That's a big turnout.
Yeah, Smith Rowe is one of the scorers, and I have him in my fantasy league team, but he is unfortunately on the bench for me today. But
No self-respecting Tottenham fan has any Arsenal players in their fantasy league team ever.
Yeah, I got accused this week by one of the other guys in my league of treating this like stock trading rather than like football, because I had selected Smith Rowe last week and he got 13 points. And they were saying this was a really insightful change by me. And I said, I honestly needed to trade someone else out who was injured. And I just took the most owned guy of the right price.
So we are now into the 11th over. Bavuma's on strike. He just nudges this behind the wicket keeper and picks up a single. So he's moved to 14 from 21. Markram 7 off 8. South Africa 63 for 3 halfway through the innings. Not beyond the realms of possibility. And Tikshana's in the attack. 0 for 11 after 1.1. As it's added into the offside and no run there off the second ball.
80 runs required off 58 balls now, and well, the win predictor on the TV now has Sri Lanka at 59%,
Yeah.
and 41% for South Africa, whereas ESPN still has South Africa at 52 to Sri Lanka's 47.
Yep. And so it's proving to be very, very difficult. And like I say, if Bavuma goes and hits 3 sixes now, that run predictor will change dramatically again, another way.
This would be worth putting a tenner on the tie. I'll be honest.
Oh no, that would be heartbreaking, because if you get eliminated by a loss, you can understand it. But if you get eliminated by a draw,
well, there'll be a super over.
Would there be a super over?
Would there?
No,
I don't think so.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's
Okay, so
T20s
those are the
now.
conditions, and there
All
will be.
T20s have super overs. So you can't have a draw in. But what it will do is it will leave us stuck on 0.18 positive.
Oh no, they have now done something to cricket which has Americanized the outcome of the game. Because in American sport you have to have a winner. You can't have a draw. Other than in ice hockey after 7,000 periods of extra time.
Okay. So a single off that last delivery by Markram, and the score, as soon as we get it updated, is 66 for 3. Tikshana is into Bavuma, plays this out to mid-on for a single. And that is the end of the 11th over, 67 for 3. Just 5 runs off that Tikshana over. He's now gone for 15 off 2. So pulling things back nicely as far as he's concerned. They got a hold of him in the power play a little bit. So Sri Lanka, I would say, are in control at the moment. Even though they only have 3 wickets, South Africa need to up the scoring rate, and that is a tough ask against this opposition on this surface.
And also goes totally against what's been happening at Sharjah over the course of the tournament, where people score runs relatively early and then the run rate tends to stagnate more than it does seem to accelerate. So a difficult place for South Africa right now.
Yep. So Bavuma facing that is Shanaka, Dashun Shanaka, and they take 2. Play down to long off by Bavuma for 2. Good running, I would say. 69 for 3 in the 12th over. So if they can make it past the 75, 76 mark by the end of this over, I'll feel a lot more comfortable. They need to start getting those 8-run overs, string those 8-run overs together, 8-9 runs and over.
Spot on also.
Target. So job done off the first delivery. Bavuma has got mid-off and mid-on the boundary. As Shanaka comes in again, he plays this one just wide of the man at long on. And they get another 2. Good stuff. That's all we need. That is all we want.
8 and over for the next 5 overs puts us in a strong position to launch. You do have the skills of people like David Miller and Dwayne Pretorius more than anything. His strike rate, I believe, is 163. So for him coming in at the end, he could be the man to see us home and contribute with both bat and ball today. But let's get to the 16th over in that position to be able to do that.
Yeah, ideally, I mean, not at this stage in the tournament, it'll be very risky to go for, chasing the score in 16. But that might be something that we would need to do against England. So I'd rather see us try and go for that here. Chanaka into Bavuma, flicks this off his pads out to long on for a single.
I think what I'm saying is that let's go along at 8 and over now until the 16th over and put us in a position to launch. We don't want to be in a position where even if we do launch, we're so far behind the 8 ball that it doesn't change the outcome. So increasing the rate now is important, and we're on 5 from the 3 balls. Maybe another 5 will do as well. Lovely shot.
So Shanaka into Markram, and he plays a very nice looking cover drive, but straight to the sweeper on the offside and just a single. And that is 73 for 3 now after 11.4. 2 balls to go in the 12th over. 6 runs off the over so far. We need another 3 or 4 if we can get them.
Yeah, we haven't hit enough boundaries. Although we've said that they needed to nerdle it around, the boundaries have been lacking. We needed, just three or 4 boundaries would have made a huge difference in terms of where we are now.
Yeah, that's true, and that's why it's important to get the 2s going, because we need to get in front of the run rate. Shanaka into Bavuma, he plays a drive, but straight to the man at short extra cover for no run. Gold dust, dot balls for Sri Lanka.
Bavuma complaining about that slower, loopier delivery that was bowled there.
Turning the screw on the vice, Sri Lanka. They're so good at this. They are so good at this. We need to just be careful here. 7 wickets in hand, but guy like Shamsi, so we only got maybe 5 or 6, and this one is dragged down short. Bavuma plays this out to deep mid wicket. There is a man on the boundary, and they only get a single off the last delivery. 7 runs off that over. Good work from Dashan Shanaka. 74 for 3 after 12. You double the score in a T20 at the 12-run over mark, but maybe not on this pitch.
Busy day in Sharjah. There's pictures of the traffic in the place. I've never. I mean, I don't know anything about Sharjah other than the Sharjah Trophy. Which, what was that? Can you remember it? It was I think a precursor to the Champions Trophy.
I think it was right back in the original days when Sharjah started to become a cricketing venue. And it was a triangular series that was held involving teams. If I'm not, I could be very wrong. And the Sharjah Trophy was that, so that they could start, and they were drawing in international teams into the area to play for the Sharjah Trophy. To highlight it as a brand.
Bavuma plays a drive out to the cover boundary, single taken. Markram now facing Tikshana. Comes over the wicket. Markram steps down the pitch and he drives this one out to cow corner mid wicket, and they only get a single. So Markram showing some aggression, some footwork.
Yeah, I mean the picture we have on our YouTube channel, in fact, is not even of the Sharjah Stadium. I think it's Abu Dhabi.
Dubai. That's
Dubai
Stadium, the Ring of Fire with all the lights along the top of the stands.
And I did try and get a picture of the Sharjah Stadium this afternoon, and there just weren't any nice ones. And the one that I did try didn't convert properly, so I just thought, stuff it, no one will know. Of course, now I've told
Simon.
My son, weirdly,
over the wicket to Bavuma. It's short again, and Bavuma pulls this one very nicely through mid wicket for a boundary, much needed boundary for Bavuma. 80 runs on the board. Bavuma goes on to, that will be 27 of 30. Markram is on 11 of 13. He's definitely playing a captain's innings here. Can we say that yet?
Yeah, I was about to say captain's innings, but for that horrendous scoop, which luckily he got away with. He should have, for all money, been given out for that. So let's hope that he's dispensed with any thoughts about that. He does look like he's wearing his older brother's pads, though, doesn't he?
Yeah. Tikshana to Bavuma. He just dabs this one past the man at mid-off for a single. And my cat is jealous of the dog that got a new bag of dog pellets. So he's scratching the empty bag, as we've already emptied it into the other container that we used. Tikshana into Markram down the leg side. That's going to be a wide. Oh, that is manna from heaven. 7 runs off the over so far. 2 balls to go. No, that would be
very good cricket by Evan Markram, allowing that to be a wide instead of playing at it.
Yeah.
Just get the extra run. Carry on with your life.
Tikshana into Markram, right arm over the wicket to the right-hander on middle, and it's just played off the back foot out to mid, long on by Markram for a single.
And
Let's
this is all
see.
thanks to
Tikshana has been very expensive. He's got one ball to go in his third over, and he's already conceded 24. So that's 7, 8, 9 runs off the over. Exactly what South Africa need. Bavuma facing Tikshana. This one on off stump, just dabbed out to mid wicket for a single, and that's 10 runs off the over, off the 13th over. Well done there by Bavuma and Markram. 25 of 3 Tikshana has conceded. 84 for 3 after 13.
No risk involved there. Bavuma's a boundary off the third ball, presenting the over to South Africa so that they could just noodle it around and pick up, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the wide delivery as well. And big plus points there for South Africa. By the way, the Sharjah Cup was originally first played in 1984, which goes right back to the foundations of Dubai.
I'm really surprised by that. Yeah. So Sharjah's in Dubai, eh?
Yeah, correct. And the show at Sharjah in the UAE, and has carried on going all the way through until 2003 was the last time the Sharjah Cup was actually played. And the teams that played in that tournament: Pakistan, Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, and Kenya.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it was also called the Champions Trophy, the Sharjah Cup, the Rothmans Cup. Can you believe it? Same time as we used to play Benny and Henny cricket, they were playing the Rothmans Cup.
Yeah. Benny and Henny, I remember that well. Yeah. So it is Shanaka to continue with his second over. He's conceded 7 in his first. 10 runs off that last over. Any double figure overs here for South Africa is going to be crucial in not only this match, but also the tournament, getting that net run rate higher, because we might be in a bun fight with Australia. We'll see what happens tonight after this match when England face Australia, or Australia will try to not lose miserably to England.
England is impossible at the moment, hey? What a strong team that is.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And some similarities. The captain of their team is also not playing extremely well. You know, but it gets papered over, and you don't see too many stories about it because the team as a whole is doing well, and his captaincy is good.
I think England, in particular, understand the role of captain as a distinct role in the team, which I think is very important.
Lahira Kumara replacing Tikshana goes to Bavuma, single down to extra cover, and it's 85 for 3. Markram will be on strike to Lahira Kumara, which I think is going to be a crucial matchup here. Kumara 14 of 2.1 over so far, conceding 14 runs. But this will be
we're all gentlemen of a similar sort of age. Was it Rothmans that was Rothmans? That's the one.
Yes. No, that's Peter Stuyvesant.
Was it Peter Stuyvesant?
No, I'll tell you now. Markram goes to, it was Lexington. That's the one.
Lexington.
My dad. Brand Markram plays this one to mid on, I think, for a single. Lexington, that's the one. Stuyvesant was the people on the water, on the
the bloody water skis and whatever. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember their pay phrase, but.
I mean, you're the only person I know, Otto, who still smokes hard copy cigarettes.
Winston was Taste America, Lighter Winston. That was the one there. Yeah. Camel was the camel guy, or the camel caricature. Yeah,
did they have a slogan? Not really.
I can't remember anymore. Lahira Kumara over the wicket to Bavuma. And this one is a leading edge. Bavuma tried to just fend this off his body. Leading edge to backward point and no run. 57 needed of 39 balls. So we're into the runs per ball, runs versus balls.
So guys,
now
it's just come up on the screen. Win predictor, 50-50.
Which I think is probably correct. Actually, this was a brutal ball that Bavuma got here. I think it hit him on the shoulder. I think. Oh, it hit him on the bicep. Or just below the bicep on the bone there.
Bavuma on leg stump, and he just punches this out too long on for a single, 87 for 3. Phew.
Have you tried these e-cigarettes, Otto? Is it something that's interesting?
Yeah, I got one. I stopped smoking for about 6 months after we got married, Carla and I. And then, it's a struggle. It's not something that I'm particularly proud of.
I'm so very glad it's never been a
Markram facing Lahira Kumara. I'm not enjoying it anymore. Let's put it that way. And this one goes straight through Markram, outside off stump, and misses the stumps through to the keeper. No run. No, it's something that I used to enjoy. I do enjoy it from time to time, but every now and then, it's just like, why am I doing this? This is not fun anymore.
I mean, it's a weird thing for me because I've never smoked at all, but I completely understand the attraction at certain moments. And remember our old Guerrilla Cricket studios, our very first ones, screenside there, and we had a deck, where you could go and sit. I'll tell you this off.
Kumara into Markram. He tries to give himself room, but full and straight by Kumara, and he just drives this out to mid-off for another single. And this is not a good over for South Africa. Only 4 runs, 88 for 3 after 14.
So where we used to sit the jingles guy is where it was my desk, so that's where I worked, Monday to Friday.
Yes.
And whenever I'd had a particularly difficult call, or I'd had something that irritated me at work, I used to go and sit out on that deck where you used to smoke. And I remember saying to Ruby at one point, this would be such a good time to be a smoker. Like, I'm sitting out here. I don't really fully understand what a cigarette feels like because, as I said, luckily I've never ever even had a drag on one. But I can just feel this would be a great time to have a smoke.
Yeah.
What I do is if you
don't smoke, don't start.
Yeah. What I do is that if I ever eat Omar rusks, which I don't do very often, I like to tap the crumbs into the garden and pretend that it's ash.
Ah, yes. Markram goes to long on for another single off the first ball of the 15th over, bowled by Hasaranga, 89 for 3. I'll probably never stop smoking tobacco, but I'd like to be, an occasional smoker, like a cigar once a week or something like that. Markram steps down the wicket, tries to drive Hasaranga through the offside. Sorry, that was Bavuma. Tries to drive Hasaranga through the offside, no run. 31 of 36 is Bavuma, 89 for 3 is still the score. Hasaranga into Bavuma, steps down the wicket, drives this one too long on, and there is a fielder there running in. They're going to come back for the second, and that is good running there. The ball went slowly to the fielder in the deep. So good running there, 91 for 3 now. 52 needed off 33. It's now creeping up on 10, 12 and over. Oh, that would have been gone. Markram would have been gone with that throw. As they came back for the second, his bat was just short of the crease as the ball went whizzing past the stumps. Hasaranga into Bavuma, onto the toes of Bavuma as he stepped outside leg, and he flicks this out to deep mid-wicket for a single. 90.
News from King Power Stadium is that Leicester still trail Arsenal 2-0.
Yes.
The goals by Gabriel Magalhaes and Smith Rowe. What's Smith Rowe's first name? I've got him in mind.
Markram sweeps this one through the deep mid-wicket boundary for a 4. Much needed runs here for South Africa. Good shot by Markram. Went and fetched that one outside off stump. 1 ball to go in the over. Hasaranga has conceded, that is 8 runs. 8 runs off his third over. He's conceded 14 in total. It was a leg spinner on middle stump, just straightened, and Markram picked it up onto the knee, taking a knee there, and over deep mid-wicket for a 4. Hasaranga in again. And this is bowled. Hasaranga has bowled Markram. beat him all ends
Oh.
up this time. And that is 4 wickets down for South Africa, 96 for 4.
So it's Emil Smith Rowe.
Okay, hold on. Hold that thought. Let me give you Markram's numbers first before we start getting involved in football. Aidan Markram bowled De Silva for 19. He faced 20 balls. He had 2 fours. So his strike rate was below what was needed. And that leaves Temba Bavuma standing at the crease on 34 of 38. South Africa now 96 for 4 after 15 overs. With a required run rate of 9.4 in the last 5 overs. Should be doable, but this is feeling very, very ominous indeed. However, it is Miller time. Okay, sorry, carry on.
Emil Smith Rowe. If you remember old Hyacinth Bouquet, the long-suffering neighbour, he was also an Emil.
What on earth are you talking about?
Don't you remember the Keeping Up Appearances with Hyacinth Bouquet?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean, I know the show that when you say Keeping Up Appearances, I know vaguely. I know that was a thing, but I'm afraid.
All right, no hassle.
Yeah. He was also Emil.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? What show was it where there was a guy who was just a hat on the other side of the fence?
Oh no!
Was it that DIY show?
Yeah, that was.
that
Tim
was
Allen.
with
what
Tim
was the
Allen.
show
Yes,
called? Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
with Tim the Tool Guy.
Yeah, there you go. He appears on my YouTube regularly with some stupid ad for StreamYard. Weirdly, I think, which is the software we use it. So I wish they would just say, like, guys, you're using it. We don't need to advertise to you. We're already paying you. Just move on with my desire to watch Catstars Countdown.
Tikshana into Bavuma outside of stump and just played out to deep mid wicket for a single, and that will bring David Miller on strike to Tikshana.
Has it ever become Miller time when we've said that it's Miller time? I wonder.
Yes, it has. It will do today as well. So Markram stepped outside his leg stump to give himself room, but Hasaranga just bowled the googly onto the off stump there. So just very disappointing from Markram.
My favourite thing about Dave Miller was that he retired from Test cricket, having never played Test cricket.
He wasn't in the team, and he said, "I'm no longer playing Test cricket." David Miller off the back foot just drives Tikshana out to long off for a single. 45.
It makes me realize I should actually retire from all forms of the game.
Yes, I should announce my retirement. I shall announce my retirement after the series.
Because
Bavuma facing the right arm over the wicket. Tikshana, mystery spinner, flicks this one out to long on again for another single. Sri Lanka are firmly in control at this point, just given the run rate and the difficulty of scoring on this wicket.
Yeah, I mean, I know one of the biggest eye openers for me starting umpiring is just how good cricketers are. I played sort of second and third team level all the way through school, and when I umpire guys, at fairly senior league level, but not Premier League, they are just so good. And when you see a Prem player come down, I mean, it is just a different level entirely. And to realize that these professional guys are an additional level above that is totally astonishing.
So Tikshana went round the wicket to Miller there, who just flicked it off his pads to backward square leg for a single. Bavuma facing Tikshana now, all singles off the first deliveries of this over. Full toss outside off stump. Bavuma drives this to the sweeper on the cover boundary. Another single. 1 ball to go in the 16th over. 101 for 4. So 100 up. Required rate above 10 now. Acquired rate 6.3. And it really is going to take a special effort from here to win it for the Proteas.
Let's do a couple of YouTube comments. Arvind says Bavuma taking unwarranted risky signals. He may run Rassi out as well. And then, sure as nuts, this clown Bavuma has successfully run out Rassi. And then still clearly not a fan of Temba, saying Bavuma batting poorly, not putting away bad balls. Look, mate, he's still there, which is pretty much a pass mark at this stage.
Yeah, 102 for 4, single off the last delivery of the 16th over by Tikshanath. He's done. He's bowled his 4 for 31. He's conceded the required run rate. But crucially, in that last over, just going for 6 and piling the pressure onto the South African batters.
A question, chaps. Just in terms of this, have we not maybe missed a trick here by sending in Miller in his batting order, as opposed to sending in Pretorius 1 up to try and push up or narrow the run rate differential at this time, and then allow Miller to take you over the line?
I think Miller isn't someone who can walk in and start smashing.
No, but you wouldn't want him to. You would want him to stick it out to the end and trickle you over the line if Pretorius comes on and does his job.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if Pretorius is okay. So if Pretorius fails, it makes no difference because Miller's still going to have time to play himself in. If he doesn't, like if he's there for 3 overs, yes, no, okay, I hear that, and I think that's a very, very sensible idea.
So
but, I mean,
Jamil back into the attack,
is...
bowling the 17th over. This one strikes Miller on the pads, bit of an inside edge, maybe half an appeal, no run.
Yeah, going over the top of leg as well. And probably pitching outside leg. It's the right-hander bowling to the left-hander. So it's you're going to really, really struggle to get a proper LBW.
Indeed. So we see Chamera has got 2 for 8 after 2.1 overs. He's been the difference so far.
He's been very, very good. We're just looking at a replay of Wilson giving out an LBW there. I'll tell you the rest of the story in a moment.
Appeal by Chamera as David Miller tries to flick this one off his pads to the onside, and it's a leg by signaled by the umpire, and they get a single.
So Amy and I were talking about what tattoos could we conceivably get in the future, and we both agreed that getting not art tattooed between your thumb and forefinger on the hand that you give people art on would be delightful as a way of creating an existential crisis every time that you give a batsman art LBW.
Oh, it reminds
me because
of
I mean, why not torture yourself, eh?
As we see Chamera coming in over the wicket now to Bavuma, and he's tried to play the cut shot there. Missed everything through to the keeper for no run. You know those lines that shows you where to cut, like a milk carton or a fruit juice carton?
Oh, yes.
A friend of mine has that tattooed right across his wrist, like that, with a little scissor icon as well.
Oh no, that's horrendous!
That reminded me. It reminded me of yours.
That is truly awful.
And it's not like you can hide it because it's right there. I mean, even if you wear a long sleeve shirt. Chamera into Bavuma, picks this one up on middle and leg. It goes flying high up into the air, and it's into the stands. It's a 6 for Bavuma. That is great stuff by the captain for South Africa. He is looking calm, looking determined, as he usually does. 109 for 4. And it's now, that's the 8th 6 for South Africa. That was in the slot full and just picked
That's
up.
That's not the 8th 6 for South Africa. It's the only 6 for South Africa, I would have thought.
Oh, in the tournament, in the Super 6s so far.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say, it was the first 6 today. I definitely would have remembered if we'd had 8 6s. Yeah. If we had 8 6s and we're still 109 for 4,
we would be done. Yeah, we would be done.
There would be a commission of inquiry, I'm sure. Pirate Budger saying, so having gone to the shops, I've come back to an even game. Good stuff. Pirate, what did you get at the shops? Tell us. I'm so curious. What does an Irishman get at the shops at 3:30 on a Saturday?
of a tense cricket match? What would prompt you to?
Probably
to
it
make
is the tension that sends him to the shop.
okay.
Handle it.
Could be.
What are the most sort of racistly Irish cliches that he would have got?
Chamera full on leg stump, and Bavuma plays this out to a long on for 2 runs. Great stuff here from the South African captain. Feet in the air, 111 for 4. 1 ball to go in the 17th. So we've had a leg by a 6 and a 2. It's 9 runs off the over so far.
He wouldn't have got a 6-pack of Guinness because clearly no self-respecting Irishman would drink Guinness from anywhere other than a pub. But he might have got a 6-pack of Kilkenny just as sort of an exceptional, a breakfast drink mostly.
Chamera into who was that facing now? That was Bavuma. Flicked it outside off stump into the leg side for a single, 112 for 4. 3 hours to go.
From Iceland.
31 runs needed. I don't know enough about Irish culture to be to comment at this point.
CD
I
of
might
the
put my foot in it badly. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything.
No, we're going to get ourselves into trouble, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, right, after
something to do with
17 overs,
dance,
112 for
maybe.
4, so we've got 3 overs to go. And let me bring up the actual stats so that we can help you here. So, for 3 overs to come, South Africa require 31 runs in 18 balls with a run rate of 10.3. They should never, ever, ever have allowed it to get to this. And I'm afraid the win probability, even on Cricinfo, is showing Sri Lanka at 55 and South Africa at 45.
Yeah, it's going to be bad deliveries from here that will lose it for Sri Lanka rather than.
Yeah, this is going to be a flipping disaster if we lose this.
Yeah, it will.
Because we will. There's absolutely no way for us to get to the semis if we lose this game.
Yeah, then I mean it comes down to other people. What other people do.
Well, anyone who's ever supported Bafana will know that is a place that South Africans are very, very comfortable in.
Yeah.
Come on, Ghana.
Let's support the other team.
Go Burkina Faso. Come on, guys.
Into Bavuma. Slog over deep mid wicket. Caught at the deep mid wicket fence is Bavuma off that first delivery, and he is collapsed onto his haunches. Has Bavuma. He knows that was just not enough on it, and that's 112 for 5 now. 17 balls to go, 31 runs needed. Bavuma goes for 46. Oh, man. He
46 or 46 as well, I'm afraid. And a chase which needed 7 runs and over to be at 6 runs and over is a problem. Look, if he had missed that guy by 5 meters.
Just a little 10 centimeters higher for that ball's trajectory, the boundary fielder was standing in.
I mean, as it was, if he was trying to hit the boundary fielder between the eyes, he would have. It was that exact. So Temba Bavuma is gone for 46 off 46 balls. He hit 1-4 and 1-6. Is that not a story? Char Assalanka bowled De Silva, and South Africa now 112 for 5, chasing 142. They need 31 runs in 17 balls with 5 wickets remaining.
And welcome to the crease. I'm sure we'll be welcome to the crease to South Africa's version of Asif Ali, if I'm not mistaken. It will be Dwayne Pretorius.
It will indeed. I mean, Dwayne is one of those guys. I mean, no one has a poster of Dwayne Pretorius on their wall, do they?
Oh! And this one also straight to the mid-on fielder this time. It is an attempted boundary there by Dwayne Pretorius, and just couldn't get enough on it. Straight to the long on fielder for a catch. 112 for 6. Hasaranga making himself a Sri Lankan national hero. They're already working on the statues there in Colombo. If he's from there, I'm not sure which part of Sri Lanka he's from, but they are definitely drawing up the plans. The politicians are getting together and making plans here for a Hasaranga statue. Oh,
I don't
my
know.
word.
I'll definitely
Straight
tell you a story
to
about Sri Lankan
roll on.
politicians after this. But Dwayne Pretorius caught Rajapaksa bowled Hasaranga de Silva for 1 ball, no fours, no sixes, and suddenly South Africa 112 for 6, and things are looking very, very ominous indeed.
I think if you
I'm
want a
hoping-
statue in Sri Lanka, you want to put it outside Gaul. You don't want to be stuck in the middle of Colombo where no one will see it.
Okay. You see, I don't know.
I'm
enough
assuming
about
that you are
Sri
going
Lanka
to
either.
Google it.
No, well, if you think about Gaul, I mean, you think about the stadium and the
Oh.
beautiful sea views that you have from the cricket ground and the old fortress that's
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's the one with the fort. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
It would
where
be
you
a
want the
beautiful
statue.
place to have
Yeah.
your statue put up there
Yes.
because you practically be in every broadcast.
Yes.
So, chaps, I must tell you, this is a red letter day for Guerrilla Cricket South Africa. On our very, very first broadcast, we missed a hat trick for Imran to hear, and we've just missed another one. That was a hat trick for Hasaranga.
Wow.
So he was coming off the final ball, is it the final ball of his last over, which was in the 15th, where he got Markram out, and he's now taken 2 wickets in the first 2 balls of his next over. And congratulations, Guerrilla Cricket South Africa, we have missed another hat trick.
Can I be honest with
Well,
you?
at least
I'm
this
a
time
purist.
it's not a Proteas player.
Yeah.
So
I'm a
that's fine.
purist. I do not see that as a hat trick. Hat trick is 3
Don't come
deliveries
the
in 1
wrong
over.
one. I actually influenced a game recently where, as an umpire, I pointed
Hasaranga
out
to
the bowler that he was
Rabada,
on
and
a-
there's
on a
an
hat
appeal for LBW.
Here is the hat
That
trick.
looked like it was
Oh,
going
must
down
have been
leg.
pitched outside leg.
They take a single.
Surely.
They take a single, and there's an appeal. There's a review by Sri Lanka.
That was
that's
pitched
the
outside
third
leg
ball.
for sure.
It's also
I think
going
you're right,
down
Simon.
leg. It's the left-handed Rabada to the right-handed Hasaranga. Let's see what they say here.
This could be umpires call it best. Oh no, this is good.
Yeah, it's a flipper.
This is good.
It's pitching in line. It's hit him right in front of middle, and that will be out for.
That'll be
Rabada.
out. That's your hat trick. We've not missed it.
Well, that's 4 in 4. Yeah. Okay, so Ian and I are going to argue whether this is 4 in 4 or. Is that really pitched in line? I mean, I'm obviously
Yeah.
maybe slightly behind you guys, but that looks to have pitched outside leg.
Yeah, I think it
that's-
might be umpire's call, but
Oh,
I would
no
that's
bat.
never have
outside.
given
Oh,
that in
well
a
said.
million years.
Well
No
done.
bat,
Well
outside
done.
leg.
Yeah,
Well called,
come on,
Simon.
guys.
Well called, Simon.
Definitely not out.
You see, this is why I didn't want to go for that umpire's gig that you offered, because I'm not that good.
Yeah, and people took that seriously, that T10 competition. Eh? I was trying to get Chris TB into it, but he is so, he says he just hates umpiring. He doesn't like the pressure at all. I think he'd be an amazing umpire, but he's
I would have offered to just stand at leg side umpire and have the other guy do all the difficult things. 113 for 6. Dot ball there. No, there was a single. Leg by, and this one is smashed by David Miller. Didn't get hold of it, and they go through for 2. That's very,
Well, there's
very
panic here now.
quick running, but almost not enough. And they're showing the hat trick now with the Aiden Markram wicket, and then those first 2 deliveries of his subsequent over when he came back into the attack for the 18th over.
So, Ian, I invite you to explain to Hasaranga on Twitter tonight why that wasn't a hat trick.
Hasaranga into Miller on leg stump, and Miller goes across the line. Slog sweeps this one through to mid wicket. 2 fielders converging. They get another 2 runs. We need 10 and over. We've got 4 so far. We've got 5 so far. So we need a boundary off the last delivery. 117 for 6. 1 ball to go in the 18th. Whew. What can David Miller do here for South Africa? He faces Hasaranga. This one is full and just outside leg stump, and it just goes through for a single to backward square leg. And Miller will retain the strike. 118 for 6.
I tell you what, there's
South
not two
Africa
more
needs-
tenacious cricketers that are at the crease than the two that are at the crease right now. If there's
South
going
Africa
to be a
needs-
miracle, it's going to be from these two, because I think that Kagiso is highly underrated as a batsman and his ability with the bat. And I think that David Miller can certainly do it. Maybe I'm calling cup half full instead of cup half empty, but it's not over until it is mathematically impossible.
No, so 25 runs needed off 12 balls.
There you go.
It's more than 2 runs a ball. It's going to need some boundaries, at least 3 or 4 boundaries in this over, preferably 6 boundaries in this over, to make me feel a little bit more comfortable. And it looks like, South Africa just not good enough so far today with the bat. Let's see if Miller and Rabada can rescue this for South Africa. Sri Lanka have just kept chipping away, the same way they did in their batting innings. They lost early wickets, but they just kept themselves in the game. They knew that runs on the board on this wicket will be crucial. So this is a good performance by Sri Lanka so far. The fans are dancing, and so they should. Let's hope we can stop that pretty quickly. So it will be Chamira to bowl the 19th over, the crucial 19th over to David Miller. He will go over the wicket, and it's full. It's outside off stump. David Miller just manages to get it down to long on, and they will take 2 runs there. Or did they refuse the run? I think
So I call.
they took 1, so Rabada is on strike now. Oh,
I called the £10 on a tie a little earlier.
Yes, you did.
I reckon that's still in play, eh?
well, it's one of the better outcomes we can hope for from.
At this stage, if you're offered a tie, would you take it? Probably, eh?
Yes,
oh my word.
Chamira into Rabada, also left-hander, full on off stump. Rabada manages to dig it out to long off for another single, and this is just fine by Sri Lanka. Nothing that will upset them at all.
So guys, here's my admission. At the start of the day, I had Sri Lanka winning this on my Super Brew pick by a narrow margin. Let's see the delivery first.
What does narrow margin count in Super Brew? I've never
Chamira
played Super Brew cricket.
into David Miller outside off stump, and this one is also just straight to.
I
The
think
fielder had
it's,
to run around a bit to long off, and another single.
it's either under 10 runs or under 3 wickets, or there's another measure that they use as well. So I had them winning it close.
Under 10 runs and under 3 wickets are 2 very, very different things. My goodness.
I agree. But they're obviously trying to create some sort of a pattern as we watch the next delivery.
Chamira into Rabada, right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Rabada.
Oh,
and
huge.
This one is struck well by Rabada. Is it got enough on it? Yes, it's 6 runs. 6 runs to Kagiso. He's got the maximum. And it's 9 runs off the over so far with 2 balls to go. We need another 4 at least off this over to make it a contest in the last one. I'm not sure who's available to bowl the last one there, but very good stroke there by Rabada.
Classic
He
Rabada as
really-
well, clearing the front foot. And I mean, this guy, if he ever really focuses on his batting, he is going to be
Oh,
an
my
unbelievable
And a fast bowling all-rounder, a guy who can send it down at close to
all-rounder.
150.
I mean, although admittedly, I think what we're probably seeing is a guy who was a number 11, who has focused well on his batting and is coming in now.
Chamira wide and full outside off stump, and they are thinking about the run.
Call that a
thinking
wide.
about
Come on,
the
dude.
Wide. Is that no? It seems like that was a fair delivery. A dot ball, 127 for 6 is the score. 16 needed off 7 balls.
So to answer your question, the last over will probably either be Karunaratne or Kumara.
Yeah, so I'd go for Kumara if I were Darshan Shanaka.
Or they could go Dasan Shanaka, who's only bowled 1 over.
No, I think that'll be gifting it. 16 off 7. Come on, KG. 6 runs here. 127 for 6. Chamera into Rabada, wide outside off stump, and he could have left that for a wide, but he takes the single and retains the strike. So 15 needed off the last over. Not too bad. 10 runs off the over, but this is going to go down to the wire, hopefully.
Yep. So coming back to my call on the match, I then turned around and changed my mind and said South Africa to win it comfortably, based on the analysis of what they had done to Sri Lanka over the last 5 matches at T20 cricket, and thought South Africa clearly have got their number. The toss then took place, and knowing that it was a pre-used or pre-loved pitch, if we want to put it that way, I then saw that South Africa had chosen to field first, and changed my mind and said, right at the last minute, 5 minutes to the first ball, Sri Lanka narrow.
Okay, well, looks like you're going to get it, to be honest, because we're not going to score 15 runs off this over.
I don't think we will. Have we scored 15 runs off and over in this innings? I don't think we have.
Nope.
Certainly not off Lahiru Kumara. He's 3 over 17 without a wicket.
I'll be very happy.
There's a kid in the stands wearing Brazilian football kit, which is always useful.
I'll be very happy
We'll claim
to
that
lose
as a Proteas
my
fan.
pick.
We'll claim that as a Proteas fan.
I'd be very happy to lose my pick.
Lahiru Kumara into Kagiso Rabada. Right arm over the wicket to the left-hander. And Rabada swings for the fences, only gets a single out to mid-wicket. Probably the right thing to do to get David Miller on strike. These two can send the ball into the stands. Will they? I hope they can.
Unless we get 2 sixes in the next 2 balls, I'm afraid this is not happening.
No, it doesn't look that way.
How often have we felt this in a World Cup? My God.
Oh. So here we go. Miller.
It's gone.
Kamara, and he picks it up on middle and off, and it goes sailing over mid-wicket. David Miller sends it into the stands. They'll probably need a new ball. It's 8 or 4 now.
Excellent.
That will
Bring a
kill us.
nice hard new ball in.
That will kill us, but please, David
Smash
Miller, do
that
this.
too.
Come on, just do this. Oh.
You see, this is what they do. It is the role of the schoolyard bully. They get us hoping that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh my word! As a Sri Lankan fan, I must tell you, if as a Sri Lankan fan to watch this and lose would be absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, and we know that feeling well. We've been in this position so many times. 8 runs or 4 balls. Run, guys, just run.
No. Do not bring up the demons of 1999. My goodness.
So 7 runs or 4, and who's going to bowl for us in the super over?
Oh, flip! Yeah. Well, I mean, one would assume Imran.
It's another one.
Miller into Lahiru Kumara. He picks this one up off his leg stump. It goes sailing over deep mid wicket. It's another 6. It's now 2 runs to get from 3. South Africa are back in it. Thank you,
David
Miller. Oh, it's Miller time. It's Miller time.
It is Miller time.
Can you believe it?
Man.
Okay,
Can you believe it?
That is
Unbelievable.
unbelievable.
Just one run.
I will never denigrate. Bring him into the test team. Cancel his retirement. My goodness. Oh, he knows it as well.
And Rabada is just
even
punching
KGs.
up even more. He's punching David Miller's fist. He's got that same face that he makes when he celebrates a wicket as he celebrates.
KG is looking like a front row forward who has just got a ball against the head. Like that proper pump those guys get.
Sri Lanka fans look just like Afghan fans yesterday.
Lahiru Kumara into David Miller. This one is just onto the leg stump line, short ball. David Miller tries the pull shot, gets it into the onside. Scores are level. 102 for 6. 1 run needed off 2 balls. Just
Guys,
one
my
more.
tie is proper on here.
This is
It's
monster.
properly on here.
There's a fan in the stand
This is monster.
shouting, just one run, just one more run, just one more run to get the
Oh
victory.
my hat and gloves.
Kagiso Rabada will be on strike to face Lahiru Kumara. But KG is pumped. I mean, he's up for this one.
Oh,
He just needs to
totally.
get bat on ball. Just tip and run, lad. Come on. Come on, KG. 142 for 6. 2 balls to go. 1 run needed for the victory for South Africa. Oh.
Oh, that's enough. That's it. That's 4 runs. That's it.
And it is a wild swipe by Kagiso Rabada. Top edge past the keeper. 4 runs. Kagiso Rabada, you beauty. David Miller, thank you. We did
That
it.
is unbelievable.
We're still in the tournament.
Phenomenal.
Okay, so who are we rooting for in this next match? I think we want Australia to beat England.
Oh, can we not just talk about this match first before we
Yes.
we start worrying about the next one?
Okay,
That
okay.
was phenomenal by South Africa. They came back from the dead there. They looked like they were going to be strangled. And how often have we experienced that feeling of just being strangled on a mediocre score? And yet, Dave Miller, let's give credit where credit is due. Dave Miller, what an absolute champion. Came in round about the 15th over, I think. And he scored 23 of 13 with 2 huge sixes on the 2 most pressured balls of the entire innings. The first and the second and third ball of this final over. And Dave Miller, what an absolute champion you are.
Celebrations by Kagiso Rabada as if he's just taken a wicket. He took us over the line with that streaky shot, but thick enough outside edge to go past the keeper and get the 4 runs. And wow.
You know,
Wow,
I suspect if we go on by some amazing fluke to win this, we're going to look back at the 2 most important shots ever played in South African cricket. Was Makaya Ntini's outside edge down to third man in the 4-3-8 game, and that top edge there that KG played. But wow, South Africa, well played, guys.
Yeah, and well played to Sri Lanka as well. If you're a Sri Lanka fan listening to us, thank you for listening and thank you for sticking with this one-sided commentary that we give you.
Yeah,
but,
guys. I mean, if you ever what we will do at some point is we will replay that final day. There are 2 final days of the Sri Lankan tests from a couple of years back, where we had Nero in the studio with us. That was, I think, honestly, the best radio we've ever produced. It was where he was in tears on the phone to his dad saying, we finally won a game in South Africa. It was unbelievable. Okay, so Ian, any thoughts on this before we move on to the next game?
May I say, hats off to South Africa. A fantastic result today. It can only help them in this tournament. I think that if there's a pivotal moment, I think it came with Dwayne Pretorius bowling in that where he took out the last of the recognised batsmen, which meant that their bid for big runs at the end of the innings was thwarted. And eventually what it's done, it's seen us home. Every run scored, every ball hit to the boundary, and even though it's come down to 2 huge sixes in the last over, it don't matter. Every run has contributed to this victory, and it's fantastically well done to the South African team.
Excellent. Otto, I know that you wanted to talk very briefly about the next game. To be entirely honest, I think England are going to absolutely smash Australia.
Yeah, that seems to be the outlook. I'd really like Australia to win that game because I think that will give us a chance against England. I don't think we're going to have to, if we have to chase like a net run rate thing against England, that might be a bridge too far.
Yeah.
I think we're probably already out.
It is going to be a weird afternoon. I'm going to be watching Watford, and I'm going to be clicking over every now and again to hope that Australia beat England, which is going to be very, very strange indeed.
By the way, team news from that game is that Ashton Agar's getting a game. They're bringing in a second specialist spinner and drop Mitch Marsh.
Where are they playing?
Sorry, did you say instead of Mitch Marsh?
Instead of Mitch Marsh, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's excellent. All right, guys. Ian, thank you so much for joining us, mate. It was so lovely to have you.
It's been great, and we hope we can do this some more. Let's just make sure that work stays out of the way, and then I will be able to do this some more. But
I mean, you don't have you're like a journalist type person. You don't have a real job.
I've got a real job, and I'm loving every minute of it. It's brilliant.
Oh, fantastic! What are you actually doing at the moment?
I'm working in sports scheduling, and I'm working with two companies actually. One is a women's sports company based out of Ireland, and the other one is in the Middle East.
So what is sports scheduling?
Oh, wow.
As in programming, as in I pick what programs go on the channels, so to speak.
Oh, I see. Okay, fantastic.
Oh, wow.
All right, brilliant. Well, Ian, it was lovely having you, and I hope that you won't be a stranger in the future. It's been great to know that you can join us from the UK. Otto, as always, mate, you are just steadfast. And from all of us, thank you so much for being with us. It was a special win. I have had so many disappointing days behind the mic for South Africa, and this was one of those days which really made me smile. Thank you so much. Cheers, guys.
Nice one, guys. Cheers.
Bye.